Repair Show.
Hello,
We're back.
hello,
It is
hello.
another beautiful Sunday.
Sunday,
what are we saying?
Sunday.
No, it is actually beautiful out.
It was gorgeous.
A little bit windy,
The
but
cops were out. They're in full force. It's not only the end of the month, but it's a beautiful day out, so you know you're going to get fucked if you fly.
So you think?
Basically.
Wait, so you're saying that they're out because it's nice out?
Yeah, don't
Okay.
you notice, like, as soon as the nice weather comes out, there's more cops out there, and it's the end of the month, so it's like a double whammy.
Well, the reason I'm out, this is what I'm noticing. We have a special guest with us
do.
today. Thank you to the
do.
audience who keep telling us that we should introduce the guest right away, which is really what we're doing. We have artist Melissa Gorlicki on the show today. Yay!
Thank you guys so much.
Melissa, I've been wanting to get you on the show for a very, very long time, but I wanted the show to kind of pick up pace. You're one of our more known people, which is a good thing. Well, listen, you're a Toronto celebrity. You and your sister are both amazing artists, and the talent in that family is just ridiculous.
Thank you so much.
And you've literally grown into yourself. Like I remember, you was a little kid.
Yeah, we've known each other a very long time.
And actually, we did a documentary on your grandfather who passed away, who was a Holocaust survivor. We have a very good relationship.
Yeah.
But art is something that I personally love. I wanted to be an artist when I was a kid, and my mom said, "Ron, don't get into this. There's no money in being an artist. The only time you're going to make money is when you die." Right. So I'm sure you may have heard something very similar.
Yes, my parents said the exact same thing.
So, but here you are. You're an artist, and
full circle moment here, actually.
Oh yeah. Okay, you want to?
So she's an artist. I've never seen her work until today, or so I thought. She opened her portfolio, and I go back to the picture of Chester Bennington, and she goes back to it. I have her picture, her painting, in my living room. My brother gifted it to me right after Chester passed away, and
See this.
I had this in my living room, and I didn't like.
So you actually have the artist, and she's sitting next to you right now.
Yeah, beautiful picture.
Anthony, can you post the link, please, so it's on my page, so you have some control over it?
She actually remembers my brother too, so that's pretty wild. Yeah. True story.
This is Melissa. So, by the way, there's another painting here that you did for me for my wedding. But it's in the back.
It was actually shown before.
It was shown before. What do you mean?
Yeah, remember when we didn't have all this stuff up? I displayed it in that corner.
No, not the one of my wedding. No. That's no positive. I took that from when I cleaned the office.
Okay. I thought you meant that picture.
No, it was.
Oh no.
This is, Melissa,
we have feedback.
Some minor technical. Are we on?
We're on.
By the way, can I just say
no,
something?
I can't see.
By the way, I'm live on my Instagram, which is @liveartist. I've never done a live thing like this before.
Okay.
Like I've gone live for different things, but I've never done like a live show interview type thing. So, yes, hi to all my Instagram followers. Thank you. And this is the first for me. Like doing.
Wait a second. You've done a live before. We did when we shot a film 2 years ago. We did a live.
Yeah, but 2 years ago, live was
like the whole time
Instagram.
I was live.
Yeah, we were live. Yeah, we were live.
On my Instagram?
I don't know if it was. Yeah, I believe so.
Instagram
maybe I
didn't
don't
have
do very
live
often.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
No. It was live.
Yeah,
Trust
maybe
me.
on Instagram then.
We had not only that, we had a 360 camera that took people can take a look at everything.
That was Facebook. It wasn't an Instagram.
I don't know. I thought maybe you could put it on Instagram. No, it's
now
just a new thing.
Instagram Live came out like last year. Facebook 360 has been out for about 3 years now, 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. It was out in beta mode. I don't know where I'm looking at. Like 2 cameras here.
Okay. Well,
it was out in
not
beta
this
mode.
one. This one's not for you.
No, not this one.
Okay.
Like the Instagram Live camera and the Facebook Live camera. So I'm trying to like talk to 2 different audiences.
This is your main.
I know, but
I always get to be
polite
seeing
here,
myself
you know?
on film. Okay, there I am.
So the reason you're here today is we try to highlight different people in the community. We try to. The way really the premise of the show is we're all little heroes, even if you take a look at the beginning of the show, we kind of have like a superhero part to it. And I feel personally, and I know that Lee feels the same way, that there's a lot of people who are doing such amazing things but are not being rewarded for it. And we're not talking about reward like you're in the papers and people are talking about you, but it's kind of like people even acknowledging the fact that you're doing some amazing work.
Totally.
And I know that aside from just being an artist, you donate or dedicate a lot of your time to helping people develop their artistic abilities. You work with people with disabilities. Can you talk a little bit about what is it that you do outside of just the painting world?
Totally. There's a giant umbrella. So I don't know if I'm going to cover everything that I do.
You have an hour and a half, so you're good.
Oh my God, an hour and a half.
So
I didn't realize.
It's gonna be a long line.
Oh my gosh. So, I don't know. It all just kind of happened organically when I was just thinking, other than just painting a painting, what else can I, kind of reach out to do things as an artist and to make an impact as an artist and to make a living as an artist?
Right.
Because again, you face a lot of discouraging comments from people like, how are you going to make a living? What are you going to do? You're going to be, starving artist.
Right.
So I had to get innovative and creative in terms of ways that I was going to make a living at being an artist. And it kind of organically turned into something where I was actually also helping people, not just teaching people, but working with different charities, doing murals for different businesses so my work can be seen in different places, and then just getting involved in different communities. And
well, what specific? I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, I could be
Yeah.
saying the wrong thing, but I know that you were working with kids with disabilities.
Yes.
You used to bring them into you have a studio.
Yes.
You used to bring them in, and it just became this thing where people came to express themselves through art.
Yes.
And I was dealing a lot, at the beginning with mental health stuff.
Right.
And I found it to be intriguing because, here's a way for people to not be judged, for their work. Like if you play basketball and you can't shoot a basket, then, people will say, well, you can't play, right? You're just
Right.
fooling around.
Right.
But with art, it's an expression.
Right.
So, like, how do you take that expression and work with the kids? How do you, help them?
Right. Yeah. No, it's like it's very interesting. I started working with a girl who had autism, and her parents were like old family friends of mine. So they asked me to come over and work with her, and I thought, wow, this is such a great idea.
Right.
And then I have another friend whose family, her sister, had Down syndrome, so I would go and I would work with them as well. Yeah.
Talk to me maybe about the experience, because like sometimes we're all artists, right?
Right.
I mean, you have an art,
One way or
we have an
another.
art, right? But the way we express ourselves is very different. And but something I've noticed is sometimes we just go with the flow. Like the job becomes just a job until we see that we're either helping someone, inspiring someone, until we see the growth in their eyes.
Totally.
So talk to me a little bit about maybe sometimes you were doubting yourself, I'm sure, as an artist,
Yeah.
and here you are. I'm giving you the floor. So
Yeah, I don't think I really realized what was happening. And it's funny that you point that out because I, just was kind of doing all this stuff. And now when I look back, I realize wow, I think I kind of am, I guess, in a sense, not to call myself modest and then not be, but I think I don't really realize, I'm just sort of operating and it's nice, but I don't think I actually take a moment to really take that in. So I think even right now in this moment, I'm kind of realizing there's such a bigger picture happening, and it's nice to bring attention. And you were saying there's a lot of things that don't get recognition.
Right.
It's nice to bring light to that because it's something that I don't really stop and think about because I'm just so busy doing this and reaching out to this person.
What was the first
I don't know if that
picture
answers your question, but
No,
I just had a realization.
No, it's not just about. Sorry, I'm just gonna answer. It's not so much just about the realization. It's like there are people who who talk about you as if they know you, they're very good friends because a piece of your art is at their house. There's certain people. Here's an exact example where it's wow, I've seen this. I have this picture on my wall.
She just
and here
literally
you
was
are.
going.
Right. So
And I'm like, wait,
that must
stop
have been
there.
trippy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that connection, the idea that you're in other people's lives, and art is one of those things that stays with you. Or people that maybe walk up to you and say, thank you, you inspired me to follow my dream. May not be art, but it will be, because art, I think, is the first thing we say, starving artist, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we say that about maybe actors, we say that, but the artist is really the starving artist.
Right.
Because, anybody can just take paint and paint, but it's, what are you going to do with it, right?
100%.
So,
Yeah, and I've had to have encouragement from other people as well. I had one guy say to me, there's a million artists out there, but there's only one Melissa Gorlicky.
right.
And not that I'm, so great or this or that, but it was nice to have somebody believe in me. And I think that's probably what I do for others is I help them believe in themselves and I show them that I believe in them. And I think that encouragement helps them to keep going and want to create and not worry about if their artwork looks good or doesn't look good, and just use it as a form of self-expression.
I want to know what was the first picture you did that made you feel like that?
I'm so happy I wish I brought this because I was going to bring it. I just was at my parents' house yesterday, or today, and I found my first like real painting that I did in high school, and I took it up from the basement. I'm like, this was my first painting.
How did that make you feel? Like, I honestly probably would have cried if like I hadn't seen it and probably.
I'm so proud of it.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of it, and I was like, oh my god, there's my style.
Did it take you back to that moment?
Yes,
where
I was in high school.
How old you were, what you were doing at that time, that feeling.
But was that artwork that you did what got you to say, hey, I'm really good? Or is it just, here's a painting, oh wow, I did this when I was in high school?
It's probably her feeling, her emotion.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know what painting you did.
I just remember doing this, it was a collage. So first I had to cut up, this was like before the internet, so I had to cut up magazines. And then put little, like, I don't have the original collage, but I then painted that collage that I made on paper with paper. Now I use Photoshop and I use the internet to source images. And then I have like digital. So some of my work you'll notice looks digital. And so I just started when it wasn't, when there wasn't really, like I said, the internet or Photoshop. But for me, it was a really proud moment in terms of like an artistic process perspective, because I saw that my work still today is like authentic to who I was back then, and that my style has just developed, but that it was always
You're still true to yourself.
Like I'm still getting to know myself as an artist. So,
but you still have that signature look that you had back even in high school. You had that little touch that you saw within yourself back then,
and I felt proud that I went somewhere with it, because a lot, like you would be surprised how many people come up to me and say, I used to paint, and then I got busy with work, or I had kids, and I had to get, realistic about life and making a living, so I gave that up. And so for me, seeing that, I'm really proud that I was able to pursue that as my career and continue to do that.
You mentioned that. Well, first of all, you do amazing work. Let's just put it out there.
Oh,
I mean, you've come a long
need this.
Yes, you can talk to her after about getting discounts.
In Toronto.
So you come from a family of artists, right? It's you and your sister. We're not going to get into a friction here or anything, but it's more of a question, like, because you said you were kind of, you almost doubted yourself, or you weren't sure, and somebody, got you to really do this. But you had sort of an inspiration at home, where you and your sister were painting together. And it was more like a hobby, and then it became something. Totally. When did you realize that, hey, this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life?
It's really kind of it's not too exciting. Okay. It's an anticlimactic story. I literally was in high school, and the guidance counselors, it was that time in your life where they're like, what do you want to do with your life?
What high school did you go to?
I went to Westmount.
Oh, Westmount.
I went to Vaughan for a couple of days, then I went to Westmount.
A couple of days.
No, but I don't know why I remember
transferred,
yeah.
She didn't last at Vaughan very long.
All my friends were at Westmount.
Okay.
I did.
And I was like, I don't know. Like I always wanted to be an actress. And I was musical, I was singing. So my passion was singing, music, animals. Well, that was, and art.
Westmount's a good school to go to for
Yes, but it wasn't super, super arts. It was like, I went there the first year that it existed.
Wait, what year, were you born, so that I can see if you had this drama teacher? Because the drama teacher,
they literally had only one grade. They only had one grade.
I know, 9 and 10.
9 and 10. So you were the second year. Yeah. So the way Westmount worked was the first year, they only had 1 year, and then they added a year so you came there the second year.
The first year there was grade 9 and 10.
Grade 9. Oh, 9 and 10?
And then they added.
Okay, for some reason I remember
when I was in high school, the drama teacher at Westmount was the old Spike from Degrassi.
I don't think.
So you're probably a lot younger, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, no, it can't be a lot younger.
No, I'm older. I'm the first. Yeah, you're probably a lot younger.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
I'm not gonna tell you which year I was born on camera. Sorry.
Okay, so then she probably came along after you graduated then.
Probably, yeah.
So then that's when
the last year of high school was a blur anyways. I don't even know if I was
think it all was.
I don't think I was.
Did you have
physically I might have been there. Mentally I don't know.
You had OACs, so that's
I was the last year of OACs, yeah.
So was I.
Yeah.
So you're not
okay. We're probably born the same year.
Yeah. Yeah. She thought I was younger than her. That's sweet, and I thought she was younger than me. Look
so
at that.
I remember the guidance counselor was Miss Berman, and we had to figure out what we wanted to do. And they're like, "Well, what do you love?" And I was like, "Art." I love art. It's my best subject. I couldn't really focus. I was very ADD, and
Right.
like if I really wanted to excel in something, I could. But art was my best subject. It's what I could spend the most time doing. I was a co-op student, and I would put in extra co-op hours and help the art teachers and get credits for that. So I was always involved. And I think even my jobs in high school in the summertime was working at camps teaching art.
Okay.
So it just always seemed to be like, it sort of seemed to circle back to art. Even though I was involved in music, even though I was involved in plays and acting and singing, it always circled back, and animal stuff too, like doing things with animals, it always circled back to art. And even in my late 20s, I studied holistic nutrition, I became a yoga instructor, and I was wavering with what I really wanted to do and become. And it's an interesting story, but at that time, I met an artist that inspired me, and he was doing live painting.
Okay.
We weren't getting paid for this at the time.
Who was this person? Maybe we can...
I'm not going to say the name, but...
I don't know. It was who inspired you.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's not a private thing, but
Okay.
I was like apprenticing him for a bit.
Okay.
A bit of a relationship developed.
Got it.
I was young. I was like,
Got it.
17, whatever.
Okay.
So I was inspired by that relationship, and he was older, and he showed me. He kind
Parents
of showed
are
me
watching,
the
so
ropes.
okay.
Oh yeah, my parents were so thrilled. Let me tell you. So he kind of showed me the ropes, and we went down to. I was working at a nightclub called the Living Room on Adelaide, which doesn't exist anymore. And I met him there, and that was the first time I put my artwork up on the walls, because the owner's like, "Hey, do you want to put your artwork up?" And my artwork at the time was inspired by Head Candy music. I don't know if you remember; it was like house music.
Oh my god!
So I was painting those album covers, and I was painting like women smoking and drinking and nudes and all these like kind of club inspired, because that's where I was at in my life. I was 18. And so I was putting that work up, and then it just kind of transpired. And I remember selling my first pieces for like $300, $500, which, I was...
So is that where it happened for you? When you actually sold, that you realized, hey, this is some... Because usually that's where it is. When you make your first
100%.
paycheck, you kind of say to yourself, I can make a living.
Yeah.
Somebody paid $300 for it?
Well, the fact that people wanted to buy my work, I was always confident, in that. Even with some of the charity events where we do auctions, I get a question from the organizers sometimes, what if nobody buys it?
Right.
And I'm just confident in that there's one person out there that this is going to speak to. And I've always kind of had, I don't know, I want to say good luck with that, but that's always been something that's flowed for me. So for me, that was never a challenge. Okay. I would say. Yeah.
You're also, we talked a little about mental health, but this is something that is helping you too.
Yes,
right.
Totally.
So, talk to me a little bit about what you get out of art. I'll give an example. You used to have a pet, and it passed away that you were very close to.
Yes.
And I remember talking to you during that time period, and it was very difficult for you, and you just kind of dedicated your time to painting.
Right.
And I asked you, is this helping you? Because I was going through something at the same time. You're like, absolutely, this is. So.
Well, I think looking back, when I was a teenager, I was struggling with a lot of anxiety. And I think for me, my art and being, I guess, having people encouraging me, that was sort of, for me, the thing that kept me grounded. It's something that I knew I had, in a sense, to, first of all, it would take me out of whatever thoughts I was having that were making me anxious at the time. And it's something I could get into that was meditative and that would take my mind off of whatever was bothering me, even as a teenager. Just putting on music, painting, those times. And sometimes when I'm painting, I'll be honest, I will have different thoughts coming in and out of my mind. But I also have times where I'm very meditative and I'm listening to music that I want to listen to, and I'm just expressing myself. So it can be very, very therapeutic.
Do you always have a thought in mind when you start painting? Is it always, let's just say, a bowl of fruit? Or do you have a vision that you saw that day, of a lady sitting on the subway, reading a book, or pigeons flying in a park?
Yeah, I mean, when I was
that.
younger, I had a sketchbook, and when I'd have a dream, or I have a lot of vivid dreams. That's something that's really important to me. So I would write down my dreams, and then I would paint my dreams.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I don't do this all the time now, because, I'm busy. So, and that's what happens, right? I do a lot more painting for work, and I have people waiting for paintings. So, I don't have as much time now to paint just to express myself, even though I still love it. And I'm like, I'm so lucky. I can just, go to my studio, listen to music and paint and make my own hours and stuff.
You haven't done anything of like your own,
Not
the
in a
painting
little
that you
while.
found in your parents' house, let's say.
Yeah, but I definitely will make time in the near future to just spend a month, painting and doing what I want. That's a goal that I've set for myself, is just to take time and paint just for me, whatever I want, and let it flow and not think about, how it's going to look or whatever the case may be. Yeah, but I'll paint what inspires me. So if I see an image that I love, and now with social media, that's a whole new, that's just like mind blowing.
Right.
I can look at other artists' work and artists inspire each other, and I can just be blown away.
You use like Pinterest, and stuff like that, to be able to see what other people
Yes,
are doing?
Pinterest,
right?
Instagram, I save, if I see something that I really love, or not even that I want to take inspiration from, but that I just think, wow, like this person just blows my mind. It's open to
So
the
you
whole...
attempt to try to do the same art, kind of mimic? Not by copying, but like trying to see, hey, this is a new art form.
I think she just tries to get the same feeling invoked in her
some
art.
Yes.
Right?
Some yes, like they'll inspire me, and I'll love an element of some, and most artists do that. Even you'll hear songs like musicians will be inspired by other musicians.
Right.
It's similar with art. But also just works that I just love, that I think, wow, this is just so amazing, and I just want to show people, like, check this artist out. So it's not only about me and my artwork, it's about building a community of other artists and just loving what they do and promoting. Like, I'll post on my story sometimes like an artwork from somebody else, and I'm just like, wow, this is just like so amazing.
I'm looking at your artwork, and I've been to your studio a few times, and you're very much with the times. Like, certain people would like have a style, and they would paint, in their style, and they're going to keep it very consistent. With you, I've noticed, if there was like a celebrity that passed away, you would do a portrait.
Yeah.
If somebody is in today, you're going to do a portrait of them.
Yeah.
I see some sports celebrities.
The sports is new.
Yeah, so this
is really cute.
So talk to me a little bit about, like what inspires you to, because when you're dedicating time to do, let's just say, musicians, it will be an ADD of you to go into sports, right? So how do you combine the two? Like, where do you get your inspiration?
So everything is, I'd say almost everything I do is organic. If I'm creating something, it's come to me through some kind of opportunity or conversation with somebody about something. So I was asked to do a charity event and play alongside a Jerry Garcia or Grateful Dead cover band.
Wow.
And it's like, well, what am I going to paint? And then we discuss, well, we're going to sell this painting, we're going to auction it off to charity. So what would the fans at the, Grateful Dead concert love to see? Cover band concert love to see? Well, what
anything with shrooms in it.
Yes, or psychedelic.
So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we came up with, not very...
It's the effect of shrooms.
Yes. Not very innovative, but why don't I just...
I recognize some of the other faces of our friends in there, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Avitada's there, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah, she is.
Yeah.
So Jerry Garcia was one that I did for... I've done 3. And I think Jerry Garcia was one of the first celebrities that I painted. I've always wanted to do it, but this was just the right opportunity. And then from this, I started communicating with one of the band members, and he said, well, you know what? You should do other paintings, and let's make videos to music and start a thing. Right. So I learned how to make a time-lapse video, which was, easy, just press a button. And I posted on my Instagram, and I enjoyed it. I was just like, wow, this is cool, and this is reaching a lot of people, and, the artworks are being auctioned off, and then I got requests for, can you paint this person, and can you paint that person? And when we had this idea, I think the first person...
I think if you did a Snoop Dogg would be crazy.
Yeah, I have like a list. Okay, Snoop Dogg is definitely high up there on the list. And then I started getting requests.
Well, they can't see. Maybe let's open the book so this way the audience can see. Then I started getting
requests for sports athletes because I had done a sport card show.
You actually met Joe Montana, right?
I did meet Joe Montana. Wow. I don't have the picture of him signing it here, but he signed this piece. And I've actually had a lot of well-known athletes sign paintings and prints of them. Nice. So that's actually...
When you do that again, let me know, and I'll just slip some things your way for you to sign.
It's becoming a thing. I am making connections with different people in the industry now, and it really happens organically, which is I'm so grateful for. Yeah.
What was the first celebrity piece that you did?
Well, the Jerry
The Jerry
Garcia
Garcia,
one.
Besides, yeah.
And then when Chester Bennington passed away, and I loved Linkin Park, the music. I'm trying to remember because there's.
So that was one of your first ones?
No, it's there.
Oh,
The
okay.
Chester one?
After.
The one that I have hanging in my living room?
There.
Yeah.
So that's one of your first pieces. I have an original in my living room.
Yeah,
that
you guys.
did.
I showed you guys this one already.
Crazy.
Yeah.
wonderful.
Well, that one you have. That one is a print.
Oh, is
That is a mini
on
print.
a canvas?
Yes, I don't have a lot of those. And then obviously from Tragically Hip.
Or Downey.
Just to let everybody know that Melissa's information, her Instagram, and I believe her email address is in the corner. So if you ever want to order something or connect with Melissa, that's probably the best way to do that. Also to the Instagram
I'm very
people.
active on Instagram.
Yeah. So I don't have Instagram. We do, but I don't really use it.
Yeah,
I need
you're
to
a
get into-
Facebook guy.
I'm a Facebook guy. I like politics, so this is why this is
Yeah.
my thing.
Politics are not my thing. I stay out of politics.
Usually everybody's thing. So we talked
Don't
about.
ask me about politics today.
This is definitely. Well, we might talk a little bit about
Yeah,
it.
babe, go ahead.
Yeah, we have more water over there. So
Okay.
if you
I'm
want to
just
give
going
it
to
to
steal
us,
hers because she didn't have any yet.
I wanted my own.
I can share.
Let's talk a little bit about the new fad, and it's already not new because it's been around, but it's this whole paint night thing that's going on. And and it's funny because it's a nice activity for people to get around. It's an easy way to make money, but real art is not done in those classes.
Right.
And I feel like if we're already doing paint night, wouldn't we want to paint something? We learn how to paint as opposed to let's just do a sun and a few trees and a bird.
Right. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if it was led by a real artist? I mean, not to take away from
But
people
I
out
think
there.
they're usually normally prints, aren't they?
No.
They have some sort of.
No. You have a person there. I've been to those.
Oh, have you?
Yeah,
I have been too. But
They
it was
are,
one of
by the way,
those
they are
edible
all
ones.
real artists. The teachers.
Yeah.
They are all professional working artists, but they might not be full-time artists because they're not.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. The work
Yeah.
is great. It's a really good activity. You get your paint. You get to talk and do something. It's fun. I feel like I would love to learn how to paint. I'd love to maybe learn how to mix colors, understand shadow.
Right.
Is there something where a group of people can come together and maybe have a 10-week course where they learn it, but they're always together having fun over coffee?
Yes.
Is this something that you do? I mean, or is it something that is out there?
So I've done workshops that are one-night workshops.
Okay.
That are. People can come in and paint whatever they like, and then I come around and I speak with them individually.
Right. But are these people coming in with a background, or are they just
Some yes, some no.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What if we, it's maybe an idea to put together. I'd like to learn how to paint properly, right? So I know how to draw. I used to draw since I was a kid, but painting is not. I don't understand in shadows and how to be able to get it. So I would love for someone to teach me, but I would like to do it with my peers. And here's an activity where maybe not a bunch of guys would I don't mind doing it with women, but a bunch of friends getting together, and instead of just a regular paint night, we have these, once every week we meet up, we have coffee or wings or whatever it is, and we learn how to paint, and we paint something specific. So each person gets, let's just say you want to paint a portrait, I want to paint silhouette, another person wants to paint, and we all learn the different things.
Right. I want to paint a stick man because that's probably the only thing I'll be able to paint.
I'll teach you how to draw. But no,
I can draw.
We just said you doing
heart.
Okay.
I can draw a square. I can even do
She
a
can do a
3D box, you guys.
That's nice.
And those S's. You know those S's that we used to do in school?
The round ones?
The S's with the thing. It's like a 3D S. Everyone knows from my generation.
3DS?
I don't want to give out my generation because I'd give out her generation and she doesn't want to be
I think people know that we're not spring chickens here.
Yeah, they know.
When I referred back to my late 20s, that was already a while ago. So.
Yes.
Way back in the late 20s.
So regarding this thing, do you feel that because it's a fad, people are not taking the art as seriously as they should? Do you think that it's helping?
I think the purpose of these events are just to get together with people and celebrate something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. When I started doing, I used to have a company called Creative Spirits. I don't go by that anymore. And that was just paint nights, and I would sell tickets. Now the events that I do, I mean, I guess they can be referred to as paint parties, but they're get-togethers where, you know, a group of people that are celebrating something like a birthday or a bridal shower or a kid's birthday will get together, and it's more just for fun.
So they're mostly drunk is what you're saying.
Yeah, like the adults drink, the kids are high on sugar, so
everyone's
you know, it's a party, it's fun. Some people take it seriously.
Yeah,
another
where do you go with this?
The mothers are drinking, giving the kids more sugar, not realizing they're going to have to take them home later.
Yeah, it is more for fun.
Mm-hmm.
I do encourage people to have fun and not take it so seriously. Some people do take it seriously, and that's okay. They really want to get the most out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I do go over some basic techniques and just walk people step by step through the painting. So I will show everyone what I'm doing and what colors I'm mixing. But a lot of the real teaching happens when I walk around and I help people look. They're like, what should I do? I'm stuck here. A lot of art really is self-guided.
Right.
So there are techniques. That's great. But there's, like, for me as an artist, a lot of it is self-guided. So you can learn shading and blending, but you have to practice. Some people, it's effortless for, like, I would say for me, it's probably more effortless to blend and mix. And sometimes when I'm teaching, I have to go back and realize this is not second nature for
Not
most
everyone
people.
is Bob Ross.
Yeah, so, you know, then I have to try to walk them through my own process, and this is what I'm doing. But it's a matter of, you know, how you're holding the brush and how gentle you're being and the strokes you're making and the kind of brush. How much water do you have in your paint, or medium? So there's a lot of things going on.
So we have canvas behind you.
Yeah.
This is why the canvas has been there the whole time. This is the first that we're doing, you know, something live.
Right.
I don't want to tell you how to do anything here. This
Okay.
is all you. So, you know, if I tell you to do something and go wrong, we don't have time for it. What is it you can maybe show us as a demo? Maybe mixing colors, how to put it on the canvas. You know, just for the audience.
Yeah.
Is there something specific you can think about? I know you brought
I
some.
have paint markers right
Okay.
now. I mean, there's paints that we could mix up and
Okay.
everything. We'd have to set that up. I mean, what I've been doing a lot of lately is more graffiti street art style.
Okay.
That's kind of a newer direction that I've gone in, just even though it's been around a while. It's just something that I'm enjoying playing with and working with.
So is this marker or paint?
That's all paint.
And that's all
This
paint.
is all paint.
Yeah.
I have a painting right now. I mean, I always have a painting in my car at some point, so I have a painting in my car now.
Remarkable to
This
me
is
that you
Nobody
spray
can
paint
see,
and
so
stencils.
Every time you're talking about something.
Sorry.
This is spray paint and stencils.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I usually have something that I've pre-planned in my mind, unless I'm doing art for a more therapeutic purpose, like a dream that I've had. It's, you know, a lot of times it's just sketches and scribbles on a page until I formulate exactly what I want to do. So
Do you use other objects? Like I'm looking over here and I'm seeing like stars and they look perfect.
yeah,
And I'm seeing
spray
flowers and they look
stencil,
perfect.
so
right?
yes, I have my techniques. I'm not going to give away all my
Okay,
secrets.
got it.
But I do have different.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's not like they're stencils.
No, but I could see
I do it live,
Okay,
so
gotcha.
people see that I work with stencils.
Right.
It's not a secret. So that's just one.
That's-
Yeah, those are paint drips.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that.
there's. I mean, I'm self-taught in a lot of ways too. Like I watch tutorials on spray paint and holding the spray can. Like I didn't study that when I went to OCAD. I taught myself how to properly hold a spray can.
Well, you
So-
didn't really talk about like your background, like
Right. Oh,
so,
that's right.
Right, because it's important for the audience to know
Yeah.
that there's a lot of people who believe, well, I'm a painter and like I don't need school. Well, like I'm in film, and I still went to film school.
Yeah.
The idea behind is you still get to learn something. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the
And
day,
there are self-taught artists
Right.
who just work on that specific medium or what they do. But yes, I went to school. I was always doing some sort of art, even over the summertime when I went to camp. I was always doing art. I went to the Toronto School of Art for 1 year. I was taking a 3-year diploma program, and then I decided I wanted to go to OCAD and get my degree. And I actually, most people don't know this, I actually studied industrial design.
Okay.
I majored in that, and I was designing furniture, and I minored in fine art.
Oh wow.
So I was always doing the fine art courses, but I also was doing design.
So now you have because it's your major, you can also do that as a job, and in a way, you still
and I did work in
understand
that
art.
for a
Right.
little bit, but I didn't love it. And
Okay.
essentially I did a lot of things, and I ended up back with art. So I feel like that's just what I'm at this point meant to do. But there was a lot of time where I was struggling. What am I going to do with my life? Who am I? What's my main focus? Because all over the place for a while. And there's nothing wrong with doing more than one thing. Like you make film, but you might realize that you love, you know, doing something else as well.
No question.
You know, for me, like, I know what my passions are. I also have a very strong passion for animals and helping animals and helping the environment. And that's another, like, you probably have this too. There's probably 50 documentaries that you want to make right now. So there's 50 different art projects that I want to work on right now that kind of merge all the things that I'm passionate about into, you know, my art. So I can access those things through what I do.
Before we go and paint something or color, whatever it may be, for those out there, like, I know that, so I have like an uncle brother. So it's kind of like I have an uncle who, I think you've met him before.
Uncle brother?
It's my dad's baby brother, who's kind of like my brother. And he loves art. He's following you and your sister. And he's just, I think he maybe been spoken to you a few times. But he's an artist. But how does he, you know, get himself out there? Like, where do people begin? Like, how do they start making money?
So that's a question that I've been asked recently by a couple of aspiring artists. I've had a few people, you know, say, can you go for coffee with my girlfriend, or can you meet up with me to, you know, I want to get my work out there. And, you know, eventually I'm thinking maybe I should put something out like, you know, how to have an art career. Just because all the things I've learned from experience would probably help others. So for me, you know, networking and making relationships with people was, other than actually painting and being somewhat good at painting, it was always networking. That was for me. That's not going to work for everyone's personality. Do they usually get like a PR person, like somebody, oh wow, I believe in your work, I'm going to go and represent you?
Yes, they're not technically a PR person, but as an artist...
Well, an agent, like of some sort.
I was told this once. I mean, yeah, you can call it agent or whatever. It's always, as the artist, so whether you're singing, acting, painting, poetry, whatever your medium is, it's always important to have somebody or a group of people that believe in you and that help you, because most artists, their strength is not business and their strength is not dealing with all of the administrative...
Well, creative people, that's why.
Yes, and detailed areas. So it's really important. Like right now I do have... I have a team of people that my sister and I, we work with, and they're excellent, and you know, like we're like a little family, and I'm so grateful for them. Like they know I couldn't do it without them.
Well, here's an opportunity to say thank you to my name to the people that are there.
Yes. So yeah, Lisa and Miguel. I mean, they're the ones that work with us the most, and then my sister at the studio. We have a lot of fun there. Also, for me, I have the advantage of having been in this industry for like, you know, now you're gonna realize my age probably, but for at least 20 years at this point, I've been doing this. I wasn't doing it full time. Only in the last couple of years did I really start taking this seriously to do full time. So that's
the thing. So it takes time to build a reputation, to get your name out there. I
mean, some people I know have been painting for 4 years, and they're, you know,
so
like they've blown up. That's a rare thing.
Yeah, but what is the? I don't want to say like in terms of years, but like, what should people do to be able to get there? So, for example, we have a show every week. We're on, so people kind of know. Okay, what are you doing? Here it is. Whereas I see you doing live events. So, do you just need to be out there doing the work? Because usually our artists are hermits, right? Like I don't know.
I'm inside a lot. When I'm
like
painting,
they sit at home and they kind of do their thing.
Like
They're not.
Friends,
they don't want to socialize.
Yeah, my friends will be like, "I haven't heard from you. You know, where have you been?" And I'm like, don't you guys get it?
Yeah.
Like, your friend is a crazy artist.
Right.
Like, there's going to be, like, weeks where I'm in my stuff.
Right.
And it's not that I don't love you and that I'm not, you know, or maybe I only have, like, the bandwidth or the capacity to, have 1 or 2 phone calls a day with this friend or that friend, whatever it is, because I'm, like, when I get into my stuff, I get into my stuff. I'm sure you know when you're, like...
Oh, yeah, there's no question.
Or if I have a deadline or if I have an event coming up, like, forget it.
No, but I gotta be honest, you've always been, like, amazing. You've never ignored my calls. Like, you've always picked up. You've always been the type of person that's very real, very down to earth.
Sorry to anyone who's called today.
Yeah, no, but
I'm like, it's not intentional.
Right, but the idea behind it is you're still like with the people. You're still very human. You know, there's a lot of people where they become known and it's forget about it.
Yes.
And I don't think that I think for you you're busy. It's not, I'm not going to get back to you.
I'm busy, or I'm busy in my head.
Okay.
And that happens as an artist. Like, I'm just open and real about it. But I also do think that for, you know, I'm modest. I'm not like, oh, like I do this, I do that. That's just who I am. And, you know, both ways are fine. If, you know, there's some artists that are great and they have big egos about it and that works in their favor. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's just not me. And it's not ever going to be me.
But that's a good thing. It's a great quality
I like
to have.
it that way, I guess, because that's working for me.
Right.
So I think if I were to let it get to my head, it would probably work against me. So I'm just going to keep being
What would you
who
be
I am.
doing if it wasn't art?
Something artistic.
No.
Music?
I'm just saying.
No,
like,
something
if it wasn't-
artistic.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, what did, like, you went to school for art, right?
Yeah.
So it would be musical or?
Well, I was singing. Singing and acting was always like I was in all the
Musical theater
plays at
type thing?
camps. Yes, like I wanted to be an actress. I had an agent. I was auditioning for things. Then I was singing. I was taking singing lessons and recording. And I still, you know, I would still love to do all of that. Like I'd love being in a Broadway musical.
So why not like incorporate
art,
some
yeah.
of this?
Yeah.
Because like the idea, maybe I don't know, you write a story about this artist, right? I don't know, something like that goes through. I don't know. We're not going to tell the story right now, but like goes through something and sort of maybe not telling your own
I'll let
story.
you write the story.
You let me.
But I can act in
I'll
it.
write it,
Why
and
don't
you'll
you
act.
do
in
Because
it.
I don't like writing.
Yeah,
That's not like that's all jumbled
to
and
me, for sure.
discombobulated.
Try to do like a vagina monologues for art. So you can sit there by yourself and like create a painting every single night. It'll be a different painting. You know
Remember
what I
this
mean?
conversation because it's something up that we're going to talk about. a little bit
Yeah,
later.
no, that would be there's so many ideas. And then there's ideas that really don't relate to art. Like, I mean, I haven't even like spoken to you about this, but lately I've just been really angry about the whole plastics thing and this single-use plastics. Like this is totally non-related. I'm not going to like get into the whole
it's
thing.
okay. This is the play. This is
But
the platform for it.
I don't eat like fast food ever, but I happened to be at like a Subway restaurant the other day, and I was looking around, and I like my antennas were going up, and my head was spinning. At like people were like they were putting everyone's subs in a bag.
Yeah.
And then they were going down and they sat at the table in the restaurant and they would just take it right out of the bag and throw the bags in the garbage.
Right.
And then I'm thinking about bags in like all of the killer whale stomachs and stuff. Like my mind goes right to like.
Well, you
right
mentioned
to
that, and I saw it like literally this morning on my Facebook or Instagram or something. It was a diver diving into the ocean, but it was the ocean filled with plastic.
I saw that. Yeah.
Like
Was
how
it a real thing?
100% real.
Yeah.
And he was like scared. He's like, oh, and his buddies were like, oh, think of the turtles.
Yeah.
Think of the turtles.
Yeah, because I love animals. I guess for me, the environment is, I relate it to like helping the animals. So like humans are great, but like I love animals, and when I see
So why not? I mean, maybe you've done this already. Like work with, like an organization like this.
So I started to work with
Okay.
the Toronto, I believe, sorry if I get the name wrong, the Toronto Wildlife Center,
Okay.
and they help local animals that are in distress. And so we're going to be doing some charity events together coming up.
Right, like you can create maybe a calendar, like
Yeah.
something for them with your paint. So like every month would represent a specific animal of that calendar.
Totally.
Sell it, for a good cause.
Yeah, like I'm happy
And,
to just give like all the proceeds to them, like whatever I can do. It's really nice to be able to, maybe I can't donate $1 million, but it's
Right.
really nice to be able to give through my work.
Well, that's the thing. That is worth probably the $1 million. So like some of
Right.
your work is amazing, and you sometimes you can't put price on something that like for example, you have that painting. That painting represents a lot more than just
Yeah, that painting, that means a lot to me. That like it truly,
Come
truly.
and sign it in the
Oh
back.
my
for
God.
There you
A little
go.
message.
There you go.
I swear,
There
legit,
you go.
it means like when my brother gave it to me, I literally cried. So you have no idea how much that like
Can't
that
be a
painting
woman, I
means a lot
can't.
to me. I'm not gonna cry now. Everyone knows I'll cry like literally like that. But
That's
like
so nice.
when he handed it to me, he's like, first of all, I saw it on his Instagram. And I'm like, oh, cool. He's like, I bought it for you. I'm like, no, you didn't. And he's like, yeah, I did. I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm like, you're going away to college and you're buying me a gift. It was like literally a week or two before you left. And that picture, as soon as I have it in my house, it's literally on a mantle. I'm not even sure. It's like on a mantle where my trophies are.
Wow.
Yeah.
What would be? I mean, maybe it's a weird question to ask, but like
Yeah.
prices for. I'm sure maybe there are people out there who want to know. Hey, I'd like to buy an art piece. Now,
Yeah.
clearly, there's different
Oh,
prices.
I love
depends
talking
on
about
the work,
prices.
right? Like,
I'm actually like that's my least favorite part when I have to give somebody
right.
a price. So that's why I actually have Lisa, who is my assistant and now my partner in another thing that we do together. Like I'm like, what she knows my general pricing,
Right,
but
right.
I get her opinion because I
What does
don't
it- what
like
does it start
asking
with?
people for
What,
money.
what does it start with? Like, I mean, like for the average
The
person.
absolute minimum is
Yeah.
like minimum. I would say even like friends and family
Yeah.
is like around $650.
Okay.
Now,
Mhm.
when I started, it was like $250. This is like 10 years ago.
Right.
And then the thing is like everything's gone up. Like
Right.
every year, it feels like, oh my god, the gas prices, like everything. So
Right.
the price of my work has to go up too because this is my full time
Mhm.
thing. Not only that, art is expensive.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, can I swear on this?
You could.
Because I
already
swear
said
a
fuck
lot.
like
Yeah,
3
like art
times.
is fucking expensive. Not first of all, but I'm snobby with my
First and
materials.
foremost.
I like expensive brushes. I love Golden Paint, which is the brand that I use, and I'm not endorsing them in any way, shape, or form, but I use a specific type of golden paint. That's the brand. It's fluid, and it helps me do what I want to do.
Mhm.
And a bottle, like a liter bottle, can be $50, $60, $70 for one color, one bottle.
Right.
And I need a variety of colors, and I'm going through the paint. So the giant canvases can be a couple $100s, then I have to get them delivered. There's certain epoxies, like epoxy in like these 2 jugs are like $300 just for the jugs that I use on maybe 10 paintings. So the materials are expensive, my time is valuable
Of
as well.
course.
Like I have to charge for my time. And it's not just like people don't realize, and I'm sure it's same with film. I don't just sit down and go. There's so much beforehand that happens with the process, just deciding what I'm going to paint, exactly where I'm going to position it. And because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to certain things, it takes me a while.
Just want to show some of the other work that people haven't seen
No
before.
worries. And then I also do
Boarding
live
pictures,
performance.
amazing.
Thank
I love
you.
it.
Some of the pricing's on there. I have corporate pricing too. Like, there's corporate events, and there's a lot of factors. I have.
So what do you do? Like old
staff.
baseball cards?
So the baseball cards, yes, I do old baseball cards, vintage baseball cards. It's been a completely new venture for me, and it's been going incredible. I've had incredible feedback. It's so popular. I have lots of orders. I have actually a show coming up next week called the Sport Card and Memorabilia Expo. It's at the International Center. I will be there Friday to Sunday, and you can see my new collection of sport cards. I have a Wagner card, a Mickey Mantle, Tops. So this is all new for me. Like I'm learning all about
All
these
these,
cards.
like, guys
A Bobby
do it.
Orr, Austin Matthews,
You
and
have
then
Wayne Gretzky here.
yeah, the Gretzky one's like super popular. So
Were you involved in Stu Stone's film? Like, did you help him out with some
I
of the stuff?
wasn't. I was starting right at the time
Got it.
that he was doing that, but I have communicated with him.
Okay.
And
Because I know he was dealing with the whole cards thing, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
thought maybe it's something. I know you guys know each
Just
other. So.
flip
Yeah.
you guys
I've
can see.
communicated with him. It would have been cool if it would have happened kind of before the film, and maybe
Right.
there was an opportunity there to do something. But that was a cool movie.
Mhm.
I like that.
I've yet to watch it, but I know it's about something personal.
Yeah.
It's about Stu Stone, who is
What's it called? No.
I forget the name.
With an S.
Something. I forget.
Google is your friend.
I know, but I'm not going to go and
With
Google
an
it.
S. I feel bad. that I
We'll
don't
talk
know.
about it again.
Yeah, I'm on the
I'm
spot,
trying
but I
to
know the
help
name of
here.
it. Not Stripe, but
No. Oh, what's
He,
the tops like it's like the baseball cards? Like he basically was collecting baseball cards and like something relating to his family. But
Yeah.
you do amazing work. Before we will move on to like the next topics that we do. Do you want to maybe show us something? So like the canvas is behind you. You don't have to. The canvas is
like
there.
I have my markers. It's definitely not going to be.
No one's. I don't think anybody's looking for anything
Why don't I
specific.
show you what I can do?
No,
and then
don't
you-
ruin the canvas. Let her do it. You're
Trying to help here.
Yeah, I'll give you a piece
Yeah,
of
we
paper.
can
you do
all.
your-
I think it would be better if we all do something and interact
Aha.
with these. Then
That's okay.
And listen, I'm okay under pressure. Like I do like. So it's funny because I can take 4 days in my studio to do one painting, and I
Right.
can paint a painting in an hour. Live performance. It's a different vibe. It's a different feel. There's more energy in the piece. So, I don't want people to think because I'm doing it live, they're not getting the quality. They are, but there's a lot of
Well, you
planning
do
and
prep work.
preparation.
Listen, you do a lot of prep work before.
Yeah,
Like
and I
I've
work from
noticed,
images.
and I saw like your works before. I've been to a lot of your events, but you kind of draw it before, right?
Yeah,
so you have
yeah.
the outline already there,
Yeah.
and then you just
I map
kind
it
of
out.
know,
Yep.
you know where everything is, right?
For the most part, sometimes I just go and do whatever.
Mhm.
But I like when I'm on stage and I have 1 hour. It's like a musician, like
Right.
having unless they're performing, unless I'm painting the same painting over and over. If a musician who knows how to read music is playing a new song every time, he's going to want to have the sheet of music in front of him.
Right.
So that's kind of what it's like.
What if, let's just say someone was, just an idea, throwing it out there, would have a wedding and they would invite you to do a live painting at the wedding of something that you're seeing?
That's happening at the wedding. And I've done that.
Have you done something like this before?
Yeah,
What would,
I do that
what would
as
be
well.
the cost for something like that? Because when I plan to get married the second time, maybe, you know, what would be the cost for something like
They
this?
start at the low end is $1,200 for events, and it goes all the way up to $4,000 or $5,000 depending on the size of the canvas, what's going on. If we have different things happening, sometimes we'll have models that will body paint, giant canvases, 2, 3, 4 paintings. So it really all depends.
Okay.
And on the materials used, sometimes people want glow in the dark or like for
Cool.
corporate events. So that paint is costly, and then I have assistants helping me, or I might have a second artist that I hire on. So all those things are factored in.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of like rich people out there or people who spend a lot of money on their weddings. This would be something different, right? Like as opposed to just everybody taking glasses and funny hats and taking
Now,
pictures.
don't think this is something that she's literally sitting there doing portraits or caricatures of people throughout the wedding. That's not
No.
what we're doing.
Definitely
No,
like
that's not
real
what's happening.
painting.
It's
Like,
I just
it's
did a
one
bridal
portrait.
event yesterday, actually, and anyways, the painting's in my car. That's the one in my car. But it's a nice thing to have as a couple because it's your first piece of art together.
Right.
So and it's nice because it happened at the wedding and there's a memory there. So
like this is just an idea, but like someone takes a photograph of something specific that they want from the wedding. Today they can literally just send it to you, and then you have it. And while the whole balagan is happening, all the hoopla, you're starting to paint, and it's just kind of like the first picture. Yeah, just an idea.
It's cool. Yeah, it's very cool.
Well, you can take it anyway. I'd like to see some painting. I would recommend us not doing it, and there's a reason for that.
It'll lose value. That's the reason.
Not at all.
I'm gonna do a full. I mean, how like.
I want to see like something. So whatever you think would inspire. There you go. Something to do maybe with the show. I don't know.
I have my favorite gold marker here.
Okay.
Everything's better in gold.
It's metallic. It smells really nice.
Okay.
Well, does it smell like gold?
It smells like chemicals.
I was gonna say
that doesn't smell
if
nice.
If it was a little off,
smells nice
I was
to
gonna
me.
do gold,
Yeah.
but
I don't do drugs at all,
That
but
smells
I
awful,
do.
yeah.
I am exposed to some fumes sometimes. So
Yeah, well,
That's what
you
makes
wear
the art better.
masks sometimes.
I
right?
wear masks when
Okay.
I spray paint.
Right.
Sometimes,
Sometimes.
and it's funny because I have a holistic passion as well, a holistic background, but yet I work with chemicals. So I try to wear gloves. I try to wear masks as much as I can, and do the whole protocol as well.
Since I want to help you, maybe get bookings also, you rent your space. Right?
Yes,
so you
yes.
have like a lot of, events that you do at your space because you
Yes.
have a place that's maybe 3 times the size of this.
Yeah.
And people can come in and do like birthday parties, I'm guessing. Like, well, I mean, I'm speaking for you.
Right.
But like, what do people do in terms of utilizing your space?
So definitely you can contact me if you have an interest in any event coming up. Yes. Sorry, what was that?
No, I'm showing them that it's right there underneath me.
Oh,
So
that's
there's
my-
your information. So
Yes. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm new to that. Definitely contact me. Our spaces are book up quickly for certain times of the year because it's like there's busy season.
Right.
We have everything from weddings, birthday parties, special events, talks, book launches, fashion shows, you name it.
Really? Okay.
And I do a lot of birthday parties that are specifically paint parties. So if you ever are not sure what to do for, a bachelorette party, bridal shower, birthday party, some kind of anniversary celebration, kids party, I do all of those. Not just only in a space, but I can come to you, or if it's a corporate event, I can do a large group where I'm, doing like the walkthrough paint lesson, which
Now,
I do
here's
a
a
lot for like,
question.
team building and stuff
If
like that.
someone requested a painting, but they also requested sparkles used within the painting somewhere, or
Okay.
like sparkles,
Yeah.
sparkles,
Sparkles.
Glitter?
yeah, glitter. That's it.
We
Choose
call
it.
it glitter.
Glitter.
Oh, I use glitter.
Oh, yeah.
I love
And then
glitter.
I guess put like epoxy on top of it so it doesn't like go all over the freaking place. Would
That's
you
what I
do
do.
that? Oh, do you do that?
I do that with my sport cards, actually. It's funny because, sport cards are masculine, but sports have a glamour to them. So, and some of the old baseball cards have that, like, iridescent...
Oh, yeah, the shimmery.
Like that
The 3D thing?
Yeah.
It's the old cards.
Yeah. So I put a not a lot, but I put accents of glitter on those pieces.
Mhm.
And then I put epoxy over them, and the epoxy just makes it.
So my wedding picture that I have over there has
Yeah.
that glitter. It looks really nice. I'll show it to you after.
Oh,
Does it? Did I put glitter on it?
Yeah. I don't want to show it during the
I don't
show,
remember
but I'll have it
putting
after.
glitter on that.
Well, I'll show it to you. It's
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
work, and everybody who would come to my house would say, "Wow, it was right
Yeah.
in my living room the first thing that people saw."
We can keep it. We can just change the.
Yeah, let's change the person. There you go. And the city. It's a landscape of New York City. But I want to see just like something we've painted before, so
Yeah.
it's nothing is too new. But maybe for the audience to kind of see like what would be like a starting point, because as artists, and we're artists in a different way, we look
You
at
can
empty
put
canvas as an
art on
opportunity.
my nails.
Can I
if
just
you
like
want.
bring this? I don't know if it's going to be in frame.
Yeah, I mean you can.
Or-
I can move.
If you want, I can move
Okay.
too. Yeah.
It's okay. I can.
Move your ass, Ron.
I'm picky about like how I hold and I don't know. I'm not
Look
sure.
at this, you guys.
There's
Are you
already
watching?
yeah. What am I?
There's already a
doing?
little bit of pink.
I did that. No, I did.
So there's always a question of like where. I mean, when I do my paint lessons, I try to help people give them some kind of perspective as to where things are going to be.
Do you have like a rule of thirds type thing where it's like you kind of know where the eyes will be?
I'm really good at this.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
triangle.
I'll say like, go into find the center of the canvas, move a few inches down. Sorry, I'm having my back turned.
Oh, you know what? You know what you can do? You can move the chair a little bit out, or you can even stand.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
soon we're gonna have the other cameras turned on, so
What am I doing? A prickly pear?
that's whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
It's
Look at that, you guys. That's the most amazing looking pear I've ever seen in my fucking life.
it's hilarious, but it's an
I
actual.
wouldn't have been able
But
to.
wait, but it's an
That's a
actual
pear.
pear.
That's
As opposed to the prickly pear.
A prickly pear is a cactus.
It will be a cactus.
No, I've made it literal.
It's alright. Hey, listen, if that was
She
your
made a pear.
expression, that's
She's
awesome.
making me hungry. You know what? We'll call it the golden pear of pricks.
I like it. The golden pear.
Golden pear.
You know what? The gold. See, that's like one of my little tricks. Is like the gold just makes everything
Look at how nice it
look
looks.
so
Let's see.
nice.
Oh shit.
It makes some little ones kind of coming out of there. In different directions.
That's a rock star pear, you guys. You don't even know how gorgeous this fucking pear is. We're putting it up. It's going to be in the middle of our green screen every single day.
That's right.
And if you guys want to buy it, we'll sell it to you for $150 million.
There you go. That's a good price. About that.
Yeah.
About that.
No monopoly money. Sorry.
So when
Or Game of
you
Life.
come up with like an idea, like how do you like do you already know what you're going to do?
Nope.
She signed it. It went up
Sometimes.
to $200 billion.
Sometimes. No, I'm just kind of having fun now. I mean,
Okay. No, but like
This is what an artist does when they scribble.
I don't care.
They have
The
fun.
scribble's probably worth more than some of the art because
I'm
it's your
telling you.
scribble.
It's her
I'm
scribble.
doing now. There's a little.
So there's
apple.
something we
It's a
did
banana.
together. Do you want to bring
Let's
it?
do fruit.
Is
Do you
that
remember
it?
that work? Yeah, that work of art over there. That.
Oh, that's something that you did. Do you
Yeah.
want to
Well,
open that?
I did it with you.
Go get it.
Hold on, I
I
No, I
can't-
want to
I'm in
go
the
through a
middle.
green screen. I want her to go. Can you pass it to us, Anthony?
Melissa? So it ended? I don't know if you want me to like...
Oh, it's probably too long, right?
Oh,
yeah,
the
do you
library.
want
Yeah, no,
to
totally.
share it? Or do you want
Yes, share it,
Yeah.
please.
So,
Thank you.
Anthony, if you can, that's
Alright.
Anthony, our co-producer.
You guys, check out
What do you want me
this
No, it's okay. She's getting it.
pear with a bunch of.
Why don't I give you the canvas? Maybe you can finish it off and do something for us.
Okay.
Well, I'd love to, maybe show it next week's show.
Sure.
That'd be great. So this is something that we did together.
Prickly pear.
Turn it around. It's upside down. Up one more. Just kind of.
There we go.
I put the SF. So this is a work we did a while back, and I really walked into the room like thinking to myself, "What the hell am I going to do?" And you're just like, just start painting. And really, I thought I was going to do maybe like a picture of my dog or like something I was going through, but you just said just go with it.
Yeah.
And she just kept giving me like the
Stuff?
just kept like the spray. She just
Dude,
kept
it
giving me
looked-
different colors.
I remember when I walked in here, I'm like, "That's gorgeous. Who did that?" You're like, "I did." I'm like, "No,
I
you
think it's
didn't."
between you and I think it looks weird. I know what it represents to me.
You think it looks weird? I
think it looks really
awesome.
weird.
I think it shows what you were feeling that day.
Sure, that's my brain.
Yeah.
You can
And that's your
see
brain
it.
on drugs. That's excellent.
There you go. But no, like this is the type of stuff where you just allow people to come in and just
Yeah.
express themselves.
It's kind of going
Um,
through. You can't tell because there's so much green in here.
Oh, it's
Look, this is a black hole,
okay.
everybody.
It's all right. It's all right. We're gonna move on to like our segments. First off, I really appreciate the fact that you're here today.
Yeah, no worries.
If anybody again wants to get in touch with Melissa, the information is right down there.
Right down
Yeah,
there.
be in touch with her about
Right down
anything.
here.
Thank you. Thank you. So, wait, is my part?
No, you're still
No, you're
joining
still
us.
hanging
You're
out
still
here?
joining
Oh,
us.
neat.
So
Okay.
this is
You're
so
chilling.
today.
I'm happy. I'm
yeah,
good.
we're just going to
Not
continue
going
on
anywhere.
with the show. Today is a day of mourning for workers. So usually we go with what the national day is. So have you ever? Do you know anyone that died at work? Like anything?
No, but
specific?
I've heard horrible stories.
Right.
Like not nice stories, and I sometimes I think about them because I'm just like, that's really tragic.
I just remember doing co-op. Like in our high school, the way it was, like for 6 months you get to work somewhere, and they showed us this video about refusing to work, and there's like this video of a kid at like a McDonald's or whatever, and they're telling him to go move something that's right above a fryer,
Yeah.
and then he falls into the fryer,
Oh my
and
God.
kind of like him
Those
saying
W
no.
work and safety videos when they first started to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in the generation when those videos first started to come out.
Now
WSIP,
YouTube has everything.
everything.
So I remember
hearing something like
and
that
I remember
too.
seeing something like that,
Yeah.
but you could refuse it. So after doing it, when I started getting, jobs, and like my bosses would be like, "Hey, Ron, like, can you do?" Because I'm a big guy, so people want me to lift stuff. I always went back to that video. I was like, I'm allowed to refuse this at this moment in time because I feel like my safety is in danger right now.
Right.
And that's where all of that shit came from.
What shit?
Oh, I refuse to. This is bad for my health.
It's true.
I need a safety dog.
I'm not of that
Whatever.
generation. For me, it was really heavy stuff. Actually, I remember I refused to lift some stuff at a specific job, and I got into like a lot of trouble. And I was like, you want to take this somewhere else? Because they really they're saying, well, you're the only big guy that we have. And I'm like, I'm an educator. Like, why are you making me lift the stuff?
You just look at them and go, I'm sorry, I threw my back out last week and I'm not
Yeah.
about to throw it out again. Do you want to pay me for 2 weeks
No,
just in case?
so what happened was
Right.
the owner's husband came to help out. And like, you see, he's an old man and he's doing it. I was like, that's on him, not on me. Like, why
He's the owner.
Why are you putting it on me? You should be hiring people. Don't. So they made me feel guilty, which I did help out, and I actually did hurt my back, and I didn't get paid for a day that I was at home based on that because I didn't want to get fired. But nonetheless, so today is the day for mourning. For another story just based on that. I went to a party, not a party. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I went to about afternoon lunch. And there was a gentleman who was sitting next to me, and first thing we ask each other is, "What do you do?" Right? So he shows me his pinky, and on his pinky has like a little ring. This is before I knew that
He's a Freemason?
Yeah, there you go. So I didn't know what that was. I'm not an engineer,
Right.
so apparently it's an engineer's ring, where they swear once they graduate from engineering school that everything that they're going to put together would be looked at, for safety measures.
Like
so
a
this is
doctor's
kinda
oath.
This is the oath, right?
Right.
But I remember him saying it to me, he was talking to me like this was some stupid person who had no idea about this.
Right.
But apparently it's like their own community. And in the States, they don't have it. It's purely Canadian. But it's good to know that these things exist where people are taking their work seriously. And they know that damage can happen
There's
at any point in
pride
time.
out there.
And that's what we're seeing around the world where things are falling apart.
Yeah.
Right? And thankfully we don't have any more of those issues here in Toronto.
Yeah, you said things are falling apart. It made me think of Game of Thrones. Sorry, guys. I actually got
Have
into
you been
it.
watching?
Well, hold on, don't tell me about
just
season
got-
8 because
I
I
haven't-
haven't
no,
seen
sweetie,
season 8 yet.
we've
I
not.
just started watching it.
Okay,
I literally I'm on season 3. I don't
Good
know
girl.
anything. I decided to
I
wait
did.
because I'm one of those people. I'm like, I can get into this show, but I wanted to make sure that it got picked up for more than one season because I sometimes get into shows and then I want to see the second season and they're like, fuck you, bitch. And I'm like, wait.
But wait, you didn't know this was going to be like a hit?
No, I didn't.
This was
with the
get-go.
strike and all this shit, I didn't.
Oh,
okay, I just wanted to be sure. And
Right.
so now, with the last month or 4 months or whatever the hell 6 episodes are left, I'm going to watch the last episode with everyone else without the
Me too,
anxiety
me
of
too.
waiting
Me
for
too.
all the seasons.
I have to catch up
This
then.
is
Do it
artist
together.
brain.
Yes.
You want to do it and then
Yes.
we'll live it?
Yes.
Because I've been watching it, and this is what I've been doing. I've been watching it and texting my coworker that he watches it as well with his family. And so, the random text I send him going, yesterday I sent him a text going, what the fuck did this bitch just give birth to? And then the next one was, I really hope this bitch isn't about to get raped. And then I'm like, oh my God, they chopped off his hand. There's these things. And if I post this conversation that I'm having literally with myself, on my Instagram, it'll probably make people laugh.
Probably.
Because
They'll laugh because you haven't watched the show.
no,
Maybe
I
that's-
just, you know what? I'm not a follower. I wanted to do things in my own fucking time, and this is
too.
my own time.
Okay.
Me too.
Like, I don't have time to sit there and wait for 6 months for the next season with anxiety,
Fuck that.
going, oh my god, is she
No.
alive or is she dead?
I started in December, and I finished like around the day that
The new
8
season?
came out, but I don't have HBO, so I kind of now I'm waiting, and I'm probably just gonna buy Crave or something for a month and just like watch
Watch it
4
all
episodes
Mhm.
in one sitting, and then watch like the last.
Just get an Android box
Well,
and you'll be
I've-
able to watch
something like I
You
need
can't do it
something.
anymore.
Someone help me. I
They-
don't
they
know.
block
I'm not
those.
techie like that, but
it. No.
put it
I
away. I know I got a little time before the last episode, but I am like hell or high water. I am watching that last episode with the rest of the
I
world.
started watching.
It's
2
happening,
weeks
by the way,
ago.
right now.
Yeah.
So.
No,
Well, that's
yeah.
episode 3.
Right,
That's
right.
season 8.
Yeah,
no,
you
I know
guys.
what's up. I know.
No,
Dave.
but that's the thing. Like people are.
I don't blame
watching.
you for watching that.
I don't.
right
I don't
now.
blame either. So this week is also Easter Sunday for the Orthodox
Happy
community.
Easter
Yes,
Sunday,
happy
Easter
Easter.
community.
So all my friends celebrating
I
today.
never understood like why Easter would change from time to time. Like, why would there be like an Orthodox
Different
one?
calendar.
Where-
Different calendar.
I asked.
No, but that's like but why? Like, why isn't it following the same like?
I don't know the exact reason, but I asked this question last week
Yeah.
because I was partaking in Easter both weekends,
mhm.
and I celebrated. There was something last weekend and this weekend,
Right.
and all the people that I know were celebrating both, and I didn't realize. I was like, "What? There's 2
Yeah.
Easters?" So
Well, there's a lot of those. There's a lot like there's a Christmas that's like in January.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they do.
I don't know the details.
Okay.
Well, I
don't
don't
think
Christmas
a lot of
Maybe-
in
maybe
July,
someone could let
but
us know
that's a
why.
whole
And I don't think
different
a lot of
thing.
people who celebrate necessarily know the details, just like as being Jewish, I don't know all the details that I maybe should know for some of the
Well,
holidays.
then you can come to me and I'll
Yeah.
tell you.
Oh, speaking of, I waited for a whole week to eat my burger, which was delicious yesterday, and Ron tells me
Oh, good
he
for
didn't
you.
wait at all.
See, so this,
So in this regard-
you're waiting for this.
Yeah, in this regard, I'm saying, like, you know, I guess I'm a better Jew than you.
Well, just because I know a lot of the stuff doesn't mean that I do all this
Yeah,
stuff, right? It
right.
just, I like the knowledge of it. Doesn't mean I have to like
Yeah,
participate.
doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're.
I did keep it for the 2 days that there was Passover, and after that, I just said, well, now I'm
I
working
waited
and I'm doing
until-
everything else.
Yeah,
last
you do the
minute
best you
yesterday.
can.
Good for you.
Thank
Good for
you. I
Yeah.
lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, I gained by eating all that garbage.
I
Oh my
literally
God.
made one kugel, and I ate kugel for a whole week. And for people who know, they're like, ew, kugel for a week. I make a really good kugel.
like kugel.
This stuff is
She never brings
unreal.
any. Just letting you know, every time she comes to the show, she keeps talking about her food.
because there's stuff. There's
Not
nothing
once.
left.
No, she brought once food, but it was catered. It wasn't something she made.
No,
but
I made
she's
it.
been here since
What
like
are you talking
December.
about? It was catered. I made those sandwiches.
You didn't make those sandwiches.
I made those.
You made those
I
sandwiches.
made those sandwiches.
Okay. We had our sandwiches. There we go.
Yeah,
That's as far as it
they
goes.
were catered. That's how good they were. He thought they were.
Well, you
catered
brought them in like a
sandwiches.
cater. You brought in something that looked catered.
Well, exactly, because that's how good I cook.
That's
You're welcome.
cook. I'm glad you cooked the sandwiches.
I did. I
You're
cooked
such a
the
good-
eggs. I cooked the
What's
stuff that
happening
went
You
in
cooked
it.
the eggs.
I cooked the chicken.
Did
I
you boil the
roasted
water
chicken.
yourself? You pressed the button.
I
and
roasted the
waited?
chicken. I put the seasoning on it. You
I had
guys
tuna.
do actually
So
stuff.
I don't know. I just had
Well,
tuna.
oh yeah, there was tuna. I think there's chicken left. When
So
I
now we have a thing where we kind of do like small cactus, big cactus things that have been going on like in the news. We didn't put too many things because we really wanted more about the art than just.
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, I want to kind of talk about that's more of me. I know that both of you don't like it, but
Bernie Sanders.
what does it say when let's just say so Bernie Sanders who basically said he wants to
You
be
have to say
nominated.
it right. You have to go Bernie Sanders.
Is that why do we say that? Is that how he says his
that's
own
how
name?
that's how he speaks.
Yeah.
So anytime I hear his name, that's how I hear it in my head.
So it's funny as like Canadians, we care about American politics because it does affect
Yeah.
us. I know you don't care too much about politics, so it's not your
It's not that
own.
I don't care. It's
Well,
just
does
that
it-
I don't spend my time
Right.
learning about these things, because then I would be like you. Not that that's a bad thing, but then that would consume me,
Right.
and I would have.
Well,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Well, I don't allow, but then again, you have,
I get mad.
but you have
I get
Game of Thrones
opinionated.
to consume, like
Yes.
summits, right?
Well,
So
no,
it's-
it's not even that, because with that, it's like real anxiety when it comes to politics and worldly affairs.
Well, it's real life.
I can
yeah.
only handle a few things to worry
Whereas
about.
Game of Thrones, it's like you get that anxiety where you're like, oh, but it's not real, you know.
Well, I have to say that I feel like
Unless
from
someone
watching
dies.
the Game of Thrones, like sometimes we're living in a parallel universe to certain
Completely.
elements of Game of Thrones.
completely.
Because I'm just like, yeah, shit's going down on this planet.
Winter is here.
Yeah,
bitches.
winter is here.
Like,
Guys, we're just welcoming the summer, so relax.
no,
the Bernie
they
Sanders-
know what. Like
Yeah.
I could actually
I
say
know
no,
what
they
it
It's
means.
know
actually
what it
winter.
means.
No, it's like
No, that's their saying.
Oh, really?
The shit's hit the
I
fan.
know what you're saying. I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I'm talking to the people who
Sorry.
don't know.
So yeah, people don't know winter's coming. Nobody's ever heard of
Listen,
it.
I just started and I almost
But these
refused to
memes
watch
have been
it.
out for the last 8 years. At
Yeah.
least.
Listen, we're
I don't-
redirecting the
listen.
conversation
Yeah.
back to Game of Thrones because
Yeah.
clearly we don't want to talk about politics.
Okay, so
clearly.
we'll get
Oh,
off.
no, but we should
so we're not.
Bernie Sanders!
I was gonna say, you know, there's kind of like this weird thing where you have a Jewish senator who, you know, plays the Jew card, and yet goes out and calls the Israeli government a racist government. And there's this like, you know, and like to actually say that and not to talk about the other side. There's just something to be said. I don't really want to get into it. I feel like this is maybe the wrong crowd to really talk
I
about
couldn't
it.
contribute the way I would want to.
I think
Right.
a
unless
lot
I
of the
went to
times when
research
they blame
But what
the
does it say?
Israeli government, they're blaming the head of the Israeli government and who they don't like.
No,
right?
but the thing is, it's not really about that, because I wouldn't say about American government being a racist government.
Right.
I would never
That's
say
what.
that.
Well,
And we have
you.
no.
But then there's a lot of people that would say
But
that, right?
but that's the
I
thing. I
agree.
think you have some responsibilities. I know we're gonna get off that. We're gonna get off the topic. Well, what?
I like that too.
Then I'd be like, Huron, I know. I know.
We need to get that on a shirt. Then I'd be like,
Andy, like, don't pretend as if you don't know what I'm talking about, because we
You
and
should
Andy have
put
this
that. When you
conversation.
take that
Red.
with you, you should have that quote coming out. And then I'd be like, you, Ron, right here.
There you
somewhere.
go. That was funny. I didn't want to give it too much of a
Thanks
limelight.
for pointing that out, Andy.
All right, so we'll talk about something a little bit different, okay? We're
Bernie Sanders. I just had
Let's
to.
talk about unicorns.
no, let's talk about Wonderland. So Wonderland has a new ride,
Oh yeah, we
That
drove
just went
by
out.
it yesterday.
and I put this video on where it actually shows you like
Did you go on it?
me.
You said you put a video.
No,
up,
I just
so
put a video to scare people. I would.
Is it a big roller coaster?
Oh
Like,
my god, 2 drops.
It's
But like one is like ridiculous drop. I mean, I watched it
literally
and I
a
was
straight-
getting anxiety
it
by
goes,
watching it.
It goes like this. It gets up high, and then it's straight drop, like down,
Is
straight
it a
down.
roller coaster?
It's
Yeah.
a roller coaster.
I will never go on that. You heard it here.
It is. It
I have
is.
no desire.
I have zero desire to do any of that stuff, but like I always want to challenge myself. But for some, I always feel like throwing up when I go on these.
Do you know
things.
what?
I
How
don't feel
high it is?
physically well. It's
You
not
know,
enjoyable for
Wind
me.
Seeker, you know the Wind Seeker at Canada's Wonderland, the thing
Nope.
that's taller than the drop zone.
Yeah, I know what you're
Okay,
talking about. Yeah.
so it's just a little shorter than Wind Seeker, and it's because I watched it. We were driving on the highway yesterday. We were going to the flea market, which by the way is amazing. I love the flea market, you guys. And 400 Flea, we went to Innisfil.
Ooh.
It's my favorite. I got
I
a
like
couple
flea
pictures
markets.
there. I got a whole whack of shit, and I got a book. Oh my god, this book is fucking hilarious. It's a parody Dr. Seuss book, but you guys don't.
I was just gonna say, like, you read. I didn't know that you
yeah,
read. So,
I do read. I actually
Dr.
read.
Seuss.
Well, no, it was a parody Dr. Seuss book. It's called Green Buds and Hash.
Okay.
I've seen that recently.
Now it's making
So
a lot
had
more
it-
sense.
I had to buy it. But yeah, no, we actually bought real books in the store, like real, actual, like living books about. Oh, I'm not going to tell you.
No, you tell me later. Maybe
Yeah,
is it something that you and your boyfriend are reading, or
No. Well, he
Oh.
bought his own book, and
Okay.
I bought my stuff. Like, you know, we like to read, not just The Art of War. I like other stuff.
not just the art of war, like throwing it in
I
my
do
face
not
that I
have
read
the
politics.
patience to read, believe it or not.
No?
I like audiobooks.
Okay.
I like to listen when I'm driving, when I'm painting.
I don't
See,
actually. I do
that's
not
what
read. I don't
podcasts-
read books. I read like articles. So like I read it online
Right,
in a
yeah.
specific way. Like for some reason
I can't. No, see, I'm
I
the
fall- I
opposite.
fall
I
asleep.
need the paper. I'm
No,
like
no.
old school. I'm an artist.
I go
need to
quickly
feel.
and I read
need
really
to
fast.
feel
Very
that
interesting.
paper.
Everyone's different.
So we
I'm
talked
not a
last
Kindle
week.
type
You weren't
person.
here, but we actually no. 2
No, I
weeks
wasn't
ago.
good.
2 weeks ago, we
Yeah.
talked about Toronto. We were complaining about Toronto.
Potholes.
Right.
Wow.
Right. We're talking
Today,
about how many.
Don't even get me started.
Hold on. So, in England, I think it's England because I saw it from BBC, so maybe I'm wrong, but I saw an article and they started drawing penises over every pothole.
Oh, so they.
So now the city's like, oh my god, we have a situation on our hands, and now they get an opportunity
Oh
to
my
look at
gosh.
these penises.
If that happens in Toronto,
So-
I didn't do it.
So I'm thinking, you said you didn't do it, so even if we
Yeah.
do it, I'm thinking here's a great
Andy,
opportunity.
I like it.
What is Andy saying?
Read it. Read it out loud.
No, you read it. I can't see from here.
Bahaha, Ron for sure has nightmares of being stuck on a roller coaster beside Bernie Sanders and his ex-girlfriend.
I will throw
that
him
should
out.
be a prickly
I will-
pear summer challenge.
I will throw him
I
off the
concur,
roller
Andy. I
He
concur.
will be off.
I would actually go on said roller coaster just to get the visual of
He
this.
is a Judenrat, and he needs to be eliminated. I'm not going to
So,
say how.
no to
but,
Bernie
this guy-
Sanders. Sorry, we're going back.
Bernie
I
Sanders!
actually, like, when he first came out as a candidate for the presidency, like, back a couple years ago,
Mhm.
I was thinking, this guy sounds like he's making a lot of sense,
Mhm.
and
This is
he's
it.
for the environment, and he's for the people. And
Listen.
he had
And
a
then when
liberal
that bird
approach.
landed on him, I was like, oh my God. the
Some
mother
things,
nature
look,
speaking.
some things are amazing about the person. Some things he says
I guess
are
there's
logical.
no perfect
I can't-
candidate.
but there's a candidate that's dangerous, and we're living in a world where this candidate is very dangerous. Now, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm not a Trump supporter. For anybody that thinks I am, I'm not.
Right.
But,
Is anybody?
yeah, clearly.
Still?
Clearly. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's
yeah.
see, because
That's
I'll
a
just
different
ask
story
a million
altogether.
questions, and then he'll get really.
Because at the
riled
end of the
up.
day, it's about action, not just about words.
Right.
You have to make something happen.
Right.
But for some, again, I don't want to get into the whole politics again. I'll start getting really angry, especially about this person. But I just feel like it's so horrible when we have like someone from our own community who knows what really goes on, who understands. Someone with, he seems logical to me, but because he has like sort of friends, that he aligns himself with, like he would call again the Israeli government racist, yet he has people that he holds hands with who have said actual racist things against his own people, and he was like, these people are perfectly all right. So that kind of like bothers me, where it's like, you know what, call it what it is at all times. Don't just point your fingers. And not only that, people look at him as, well, he's Jewish, so he might represent a specific type of people, but he wouldn't.
I feel like I intuitively know what that's about.
Yeah.
And I think because, obviously these are things he's aligned with and he agrees with and he resonates with.
Right.
I think he doesn't want to be the Jewish guy that people think, oh, he's just going to help the Jews. And there's other Jewish people in politics who are like this. I forget the guy's name, but he's written all this stuff, and I've seen documentaries on him. And yes, there are Jewish people in politics and in the media that are, as they call it, not self-deprecating, but they just want to appeal to the masses, so people don't think that they're biased just towards helping the Jewish people.
But it's not even that. He takes the
You think that's a factor, though?
Yeah, he takes the other position. Now he probably believes it, and this is the most dangerous part.
That
He
answers
probably
your
believes
question right there.
What? Trump rules? I know who's watching now.
I don't know nothing about this.
No,
stuff,
but
so
it's
I'm
not
just,
about that.
I'm just trying to always educate myself, in these scenarios, not on my.
But we can literally talk about that. But I don't want to delve
Yeah, you
into
can
it. It's a
talk
different
for
crowd.
years on it.
But the potholes, like the penis.
I
I'm
will
thinking-
be more
I
than
will be-
happy, as an artist myself, I will be more than happy to put my art on said potholes, because that at least I know how to draw perfectly well and
Right.
symmetrical. If you want, I can make it life
can make
size,
it-
or in the
Do you
case
get the
of,
vein too? Like
I'll
you
get
the whole-
everything. But in the case of Canadian or Toronto potholes, they will be the size of giants.
Yeah.
Because obviously the potholes in Toronto
No,
are
but-
the size of baby pools.
I think it's ridiculous that we still have, we have a ridiculous amount. And I understand, but we didn't have such a bad winter in terms of snow. There's nothing to complain. It wasn't like
No,
the
it's
ice
just
storm
the
back in the day.
material that they use
They're
to
using
fill-
something where
Yeah.
they will fill it up, and then within half a year they have to come back there.
Because
and
that makes that hole bigger. Whatever they fill it with, pushes
Did you
down.
see
and it,
our own parking lot? They just fixed it last year. Take a look at our parking lot over here. There's 3-4 potholes that are ruining
I
our
live
cars.
at Young and
look
Eglinton,
at
so
look at Shepherd.
No, I know. This is where we drive.
Guys, I live
All right,
basically on
so
Eglinton.
are you in on this?
Don't get
Are you in
anyone
on this
started
penis
on Eglinton.
penis art? You can even autograph. You can
Yeah.
put my name.
Yeah.
I don't know, the penis thing's been done. Maybe we could do something else.
Boobs.
Yeah.
Let's do boobs.
Yeah, boobs. Make them pink for
Boobs.
breast cancer. Boom. You have a whole
There, make
campaign
it
right there.
pink.
Yeah.
Nipples.
There you go.
Free the nipple.
Where are you going to put the nipple though? Has
That's
to be
the
in the
hole.
middle of the...
That's
Oh.
that'd be
They're
like,
just giant areolas.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
if
good,
you
I'm good
want.
with this. I'm down for this.
Areolas.
or if you want to give it a nipple ring, that thing that Janet Jackson had on her nipple during the Super Bowl, depending on how old you are. If you don't know,
You're
look
always
at it,
giving
YouTube.
away your age, all right?
Listen, I don't care. I am proud to look like this at my age.
Oh,
Okay. How old am I? You never asked
You look
me
good for
your
70,
age.
I have to be
I
honest.
do.
For a 7-year-old, you
And
look
this
really
is
good.
no plastic surgery. Me and Cher.
That's it. Anti-Semitism, it's something that, again, I think that affects us now.
Wasn't that just a shooting
So
yesterday?
there you go. So not only there was a shooting that happened the other day in San Diego, where this crazy fanatic.
There was also graffiti on in Thornhill.
That's it. So see, it's anti-Semitism in Vaughan.
Someone had spray
That's
paint
nothing
on
new,
their
unfortunately.
But it's something that, when we say it's
I saw that
nothing
this
new,
morning.
I agree. And
Yeah.
it's clearly going to happen more and more.
Yeah.
However, there's a lot of people that I'm noticing, that I'm meeting lately, that are ignoring it. Like say, okay, so what? The problem is,
We're
if we start
desensitized.
saying "so what" on a regular basis,
Yeah.
then we're inviting it, and it's going to be worse and worse until we have to like stand up and say, okay, like people are dying all over the world,
Yeah.
right? And when the Holocaust happened, it's like, well, now there's just a large,
the-
a lot of people.
First they came for blah, I did
Yeah.
nothing. Then they
Yeah,
went
yeah.
for
First they
blah,
came for the socialists.
and then I did
I'm not
nothing.
a socialist, and yeah,
And
that's the problem.
then they came for me, and who was left to say something for me?
Right.
No one. So it's
Do you know who it's done by? Do you know the poem?
I have no
It's
idea.
by
I don't
an
even
actual
know.
priest.
I don't know the poem perfectly. You can tell, but
Yeah.
I know like the
Of
gist of it, right?
Yeah,
So
but that's the reality. I went and actually, I met a girl not long ago, and we went out and we just started talking. And the first thing she told me, I could tell that you care about Israel and all that type of stuff. I want to let you know I care nothing about that. And like put it out right away. And clearly, that's already like a red flag for me.
To who?
Like, I don't care. To me.
to some random girl
Yeah, a girl, like
on Tinder
It wasn't Tinder. But
or on
like,
Ginder.
it wasn't on Ginder. It wasn't.
Sorry, somebody made.
I went out with a girl, and
Okay.
one of the conversations were that I don't care about this type of stuff. It doesn't affect me one bit. Like if somebody dies in Israel, it doesn't affect me. I live in Toronto.
Right.
And I said, well, at what point is this thing going to affect you? When do you actually plan
Totally.
to waking up? And then the problem is that I'm seeing is that people are, it's great not to have that consume your life.
Okay.
But it's another thing to kind of be ignorant to the fact that it's happening.
So I have to say something. I have a friend who does creative work, and he watches CNN day and night. And I'll
Right.
call him sometimes at 2 a.m. or whatever because I'm up late. And he's like, "Oh, like this just happened," and Trump. And then he gets into his own conspiracies and like the world. We have 12 years before this with global warming, and it's like gloom and doom. And I said, don't watch this stuff if it's going to give you so much anxiety and make you crazy. Now, I do agree with you, there's a happy medium.
Yeah.
But like for me right now, I don't watch the news and I don't know what's going on. First of all, I haven't had cable in a couple of years, but I will get very consumed and I will get very anxious and I will dream negative things. And I sometimes, like, I used to be very truth seeking and wanting to know the truth. And lately, I have responsibilities and I gotta pay bills and I have a business. It's like, I just want to live in a bubble. And I'm surprised to hear myself say that because I used to hear people say that. But I also don't want to live in a bubble. So it's like, how do I expose myself to this information that's really important and
Without
not
have it affect
worry
your
Well, you should-
and not feel like I'm being
But
brought
think about
down.
it. But it's education. Like I don't know. I remember like me and my ex-wife, we were talking about Queen, the band. And it's like, why do I need to know anything about Queen? And I'm like, well, they're an amazing band. Like they have great
They're
music. Every
part
time
of history.
you watch commercials and like they play music or
Yeah.
you hear it, you want to recognize. And for her, it was like, yeah, I mean, am I going to be smarter by knowing? And it's like, no.
Okay,
But
well
it's- now-
that should have been your first
Right.
red flag.
Oh, they
the
called
fact
it-
that she didn't like Queen.
But the point, didn't know who they were. And
That's
to-
not a
to
red
piss-
flag.
To
That's
piss
like,
me off, she used to say "the
that's
Queen"
Chernobyl.
just to kind of
like
get me.
that's
But you see what I mean? Like there's
Wow.
certain people who feel like, how is this going to affect my life? But the news
Yeah, you're right. I
is
actually
real
said that
stuff.
to my friend. I was like, this isn't going to impact you right now. And then I caught myself and I was like, well, wait, if no one does anything,
Right.
then we're all screwed.
But here we're
But
talking.
how do we know? Like, it's such a big thing.
You said you deal with the environment, right? And helping
Yeah.
cats. So if something happened, let's just say right now, somebody walked into a shelter and started shooting the dogs and cats.
Right.
You'd be in arms talking about this and will already affect you. And I'll be like, you care? I mean, you know how much I love animals.
Yeah.
But you're out there advocating because there's a cat that was murdered, and here you're talking about people from your own community, and you wouldn't even read it in the paper because you don't want to consume your life.
Right.
And I feel like something is wrong with us as a society that we're trying to kind of put everything inside. Like, I don't need to know about this. I don't need to know about that. I need to know about this. I don't need to consume.
Well, there is a lot of stuff.
There's no question, but it's okay
Yeah.
to be knowledgeable about it.
Right,
It's
right.
okay to be aware. Like, I have nothing to do with American politics. I live in Toronto. I have nothing to do with it. But I know that in the
know
scheme of
about
things,
It affects
these things
the world.
will affect us, and it does affect us.
Yes, but I also believe, and this is maybe more my conspiracy theory mind, and I don't even like to get into all that stuff, that some of this, and I'm not saying any of this information is true or false, there's tons of information, and who really knows what's really going on,
Right.
is in a way meant, and I'm not saying, like, okay, well, take it for what it is,
Yeah.
to kind of bring us down in a sense, or keep us, like, distracted or consumed with, because there's so much news that we don't get and that we don't hear.
Absolutely.
It's basically like a magic trick.
Like,
You're
it's
like keeping
just-
people entertained here while you're doing something with a different hand, right?
Yeah.
But it is
That's what
entertainment. It is entertainment.
Well,
But the
Well,
point
it is
is-
like here, like the news broadcasters and the music in the
well,
background.
think about it
It's a
this way.
story.
20 years
Yeah.
ago, we had news, twice a day, 3 times a day. If you got like 6 o'clock news, 8 o'clock news, and then the 11 o'clock news.
Right.
That's when we had it. And then Twitter came along. It was just
CNN came.
boom. Yeah, but CNN, like
No, CNN was a 24-hour.
It was a 24-hour thing, but no one really watched CNN until 9/11 happened. That's when everyone was like, boom, CNN every day. Boom, they're always on CNN to see what else is going on.
I think this thing kind of started with, and it's funny. It's funny because it's going to lead me to the next thing. When comedians or the actual, normal people, we're talking about not people who are very much into politics, but your average person, start to bring the politics into real life. So Jon Stewart is a major reason people started watching politics, because all of a sudden he was talking about things that the average, lefty or whatever it is didn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
And now they were getting some perspective.
Well, that's when all the other late night talk shows started to incorporate politics into their monologues, which literally to this day drives me fucking crazy. If I wanted to watch political news, I'd watch CNN or Fox or
But that's the
NBC or MSNBC or whatever the fuck it is. I'm sick and tired of watching my late night talk shows and watching their monologues and seeing literally what Trump did today.
And that's the thing.
And everything
also.
is
There's always a target, and that's what really bothers me. There's always anti the person in charge, unless it's what that side.
Funny, yeah, but I'm there for the funny.
And-
I don't need to I know what's going on in politics. I don't want to hear that. I want to know, what cat shat on a balcony and it landed on, the asshole neighbor's head as his karma. That's what they used to talk about on these late night talk shows, where they do like a monologue, like a comedic monologue from, the Comedy Store or what.
But I mean, politics is, I'm from Israel, so clearly, in Israel, politics have always been a part of comedy, so I'm sort of used to it. But right now, something interesting happened. Ukraine just they just voted for a new president. And the president of Ukraine happens to be a stand-up comedian. So they're new. Yeah, exactly. So,
amazing.
And I always thought to myself, like, what if Jon Stewart decided to become,
Anyone
a
could be the
politician?
president.
Sorry?
Anyone could be the
Oh,
president.
yeah. You had Ronald Reagan, who was an actor before. Arnold Schwarzenegger became a governor.
I feel like our world right now, like this is just me, like I've been having some strange dreams lately, like about like
You should paint
aliens and other planets and stuff. I feel like we're living in like an alternate universe right now. I feel like the Earth and the world is like such a twilight zone that I can't believe that it's real sometimes.
I think it's the people that are so disconnected from everything that are making this place look unreal.
I think we're
Like, you know,
living in
like,
the
I-
Truman
I don't know
Show.
what's real and what's not real anymore.
I feel like we're
for
living
real.
in the Truman
Yeah, like
Show.
I've been having,
that's
like
what
I
it
said,
is.
I've been having these dreams where, anyways, I'm not going to get into it. Well, you're guys are going to think I'm crazy, but like of literally aliens like coming and selling me on like living on this other planet, and it's like I'm looking at like a distorted version of Earth.
Well,
you
maybe-
are talking
maybe
about something that's going on right
Everything
now.
that's is fabricated and fake
Yeah.
and about like it's like a sci-fi movie.
So I'm gonna take it one step
We're living in a
further.
sci-fi. It's crazy.
What if aliens are coming to you in the middle of the night and trying to test it out to see if you're willing?
Well,
and
I
worthy
believe
of,
that
like-
that's what's happening, but I'm not going to get into the alien
Okay,
thing.
you guys
So
are
if
Because
you guys
I
at
dream
home-
about aliens, and I'm, like, I
If
know
you guys
things,
at
but I'm not
home
going to get
have
into.
had said dream, just know you're not alone, and the truth is out there.
There's a movie, a show that's talking about everything you're talking about. But anyways, this world is a little crazy, and
No, I believe in
and
aliens.
I want to say that
crazy.
I was fairly upset when I met with that
Read a
person.
comment.
Yeah, of
Can I
course,
play with this?
of course.
That's what I was trying to do, but I couldn't figure out how to do down or up or whatever.
So,
it was something.
Anthony, can you tell us maybe some of the comments that you're hearing, something that's interesting that's been flowing? It's a little bit hard for us to read, or at least for me, from the right side.
Noah Gratz said that ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss, that's for
Knowledge
sure.
is power, enough said.
Yeah, but the problem is that some people have the knowledge and they're able to use it and abuse it.
That's what I wanted to read. Yeah.
What-
Noah,
Oh, the knowledge is power.
Yeah, knowledge is
that's what I
definitely
was trying to
power.
do.
Yeah.
But here's, and it's funny because like when I teach about this on a regular basis, like during the Holocaust, which is something that's, close to me, the Germans were very smart. This was a very knowledgeable regime, and the Nazis, and they
They're
knew everything
very
they're doing.
organized.
No, but they were very smart. They knew exactly what they were doing, and it's not just about knowledge. It's about, because knowledge can also be very dangerous. Especially when it's the knowledgeable people on top and the idiots at the bottom, and you can manipulate them into anything. And in my opinion,
That's why they're called pawns.
this is exactly what's happening right now, where we have these types of people out there. Don't get me wrong. You want change in America, you want something different than Trump, no problem. But why don't you bring someone that is more centrist, someone who, doesn't have to bash other people to be able to get elected. And that's really what's happening today, is people are just using, hashtags, Trump is, scum, or, they use big words, racist, rape, assault, whatever it may be, just to get the people.
Words.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And really, the average person, when you talk to them, they have no idea what they're talking about. And once you bring something new to the table, they're thinking that you have some sort of agenda to sell.
Yeah.
But in reality, I don't have an agenda. I don't work for anybody. I'm just a guy that reads the paper, and I read Al Jazeera, and I read J-Post. I read both to be able to get the information, to be able to talk to people.
And that's why I like having friends like you.
Well,
because if I have a question about something...
Andy, write that down. Maybe that would be nice.
I like having friends that are good resources that I can that I know I can call if I have a question.
Do you remember we spoke actually before you voted?
Yeah. Let's not get into that.
But you listened to
Don't tell them who I voted for.
I'm not going to say it.
Because I don't. When that time comes, I'm just like. Oh,
so before, I'm not going to get into it. But before the election, she called me just to talk to me about all the. I was like, "Why are you calling me now? Like the day of? Why didn't you wait?" And then she went and she voted for a completely.
Different than what he was going. Anyways, what his.
There was no guide. It was more of here's information, take it, and whatever.
There were things I guess I didn't cover in our conversation.
So funny.
That now you know better for.
Yeah, let's just say that
you're not making that mistake.
The people that I think are looking after the environment may not be.
may not care for the people, right? So that's another thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look at my face, everyone, and read it clearly.
You didn't vote.
I just want to save the little animals, okay?
I don't know.
That's my purpose. But here's the thing, I feel like as humans...
If I don't vote, I have no chance to bitch.
Let's say there's an apocalypse, okay? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think about this sometimes. It's
we are living in an
what's your role in rebuilding the community? So for me...
That's good.
Because I can't do everything.
Right.
I can't... I know I care about animals and the environment, so... Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm not a bad person, and I don't want to say I care more about animals than people, but maybe my sensitivity to that is because my purpose is to help in that department.
And I think it's wonderful. I'm not saying to people, don't pick this over that.
Right.
Have knowledge. Know everything around you. Yes, you don't have to be an expert in everything. Mm-hmm. You're an expert in art. Right. I say that I'm really, and I say this out, I'm not an expert in almost anything. Right. There's just certain things I know better than the average person, and I might be able to teach.
Right.
But I'm not an expert. But I have, the reason we have the show is we could talk about anything. And the reason we bring people in is so we can learn. Right. So it's not just about us being these smart people sitting in front of the camera and saying, "Oh, I already knew this." It's about learning, and it's important. But people today don't want to learn. They, if something doesn't flow with their, chakra or whatever, they'll tell me, "Oh, I'm not in the mood. I just did yoga." Yeah. It's you know what? I'm not in the mood for going to a synagogue and getting shot either. I'm not in the mood for it.
Right.
But it's something that we have to know. Now, you're going to see this. It's going to affect you in some ways. You think you're not going to have more security now when you go to a Jewish community center?
Oh yeah, Toronto's going to be affected the way Canada. It's that we're not far off. We're not too far behind the U.S.
But that's the thing. And we said the same thing about Europe. And look what's happening in Europe. I sat today with one of my coworkers who happens to be from France. And she was talking about how, she's French. And this person has a French accent in the works and says, "I'm scared to go to France." And, and I just wanted to tell her, well, are you going to be scared of living here? Because it could potentially get here also.
Yeah.
And we can't always run away. We've just been the type of people that we always run. Why don't we run towards it? There's the fight or flight.
Yeah.
Why don't we fight? Now, I'm not the type, maybe some people will think that I want to fight physically and let's go out and beat people up no, but we have a different strength, and it's through writing, and it's through for example, you're an artist. Express yourself through art. Have something political through art. Save the environment. Say things that are important.
What I did from that experience that I referred to earlier at the Subway restaurant.
Sorry, I went on a little rant there.
Yeah, I took the wrappers because he wrapped what I got in 3 pieces of paper and put it in a bag. Mm. It could have just been wrapped in 1 piece of paper and no bag, and I'd gone to the table. I'd gone to the table and handed me 20 napkins.
Yeah.
And and I just see so freely them giving out plastic forks and knives, and I was never aware of this stuff before either, where people maybe were. So I kept some of that stuff, and I thought it would be, and this is what I want to talk to you about. It would be kind of like a cool project to go around to the different, and I don't like eating fast food, but the different fast food places, because I thought of all the garbage and plastics from just one Subway restaurant in Toronto in one day.
Right.
Think about all this, just one fast food chain, let's say Subway's, all the Subway restaurants in all of North America in one day.
Yeah.
How much waste that's producing. I mean, this is just one
Here,
of thousands of issues.
But you could take that. You could take that and glue it onto a canvas. And paint something with it.
Just collect from some of the fast food places. When I do eat there, save the wrapper or whatever and put it on and on the canvas. Like, I'm just thinking of different ways to create art with some of the waste.
Right.
And maybe do some bigger projects down the road with helping raise awareness, because I don't know how to really help the problem other than making small conscious decisions. And I'd like to be able to learn how to help the problem and show others how
that's the thing.
help the
But
problem.
you start with the way you know, right? So like I didn't all of a sudden I didn't start writing, all right, about my opinions. I was worried at how, because when you write something, then people can take it out of context and, people kind of put you in a little bubble. But for me, it was a form of art. So I started making like short films, and that was my expression. And then literally, like through time, I started writing articles and I started posting stuff online. I became a person that people can come and talk to. But like, I didn't do it thinking about big picture. I didn't think about, let's make this like a movement. Yeah. It was more along the lines of like, I knew that I was educated when it came to it, and I knew that I wanted to share it with others. The way I fell, I'm just going to give you the very, very quick story. The way I fell into advocacy was purely by accident. I was never the type, not that I didn't have a voice, but I didn't care about advocating for Israel. I thought I'm going to be Israeli and that's it. I went to university, and at York, they had Zionism as racism. That was it. And then I saw Zionism as racism, and I was like, what the hell is this? And a bunch of white people were, what I mean by white, I could see how someone from the, Arab side would want to incite other Jews in some ways due to the conflict. But these were white people that were kind of the pawns that you were talking about before. So I approached them and started talking to them, and I realized there was no knowledge behind there. They were literally just puppets holding a sign. They felt that it was helping something, right? Somebody showed them a picture of a Palestinian falling down the stairs, and they're like, "Oh my God, the Jews did it, so let's help out," right? And then it became something big. So it came as a challenge. And then when I looked around, and I was in Very Hall, which, so for the people that don't know York University, it's like this big place, and nobody's doing anything about it. I said, you know what? It starts with me. And that's kind of how I started to really getting into it. But in reality, I had zero interest. Like my first film that I did was a love story, right? So it's got nothing to do with anything. But for those of you who are interested in really like starting some sort of a movement, that film? You weren't in that, but I did film you. I did a few things with you, right? Yeah.
Anyways,
no. This was
many moons ago.
Yeah, but the girl that played the character looks like you kind of.
Oh, I know you told me about that. Yeah.
So she literally had your curly hair. I did want you for that. I do remember talking to you a long time ago.
Okay. We'll do it. We could do another one.
We'll do a lot more. But the reality is don't think about, for those out there, don't think about the movement. Don't think about just the bigger picture. Think about what is it that you can do. How could you help out?
Yeah.
Maybe it's by sharing a quote. Maybe it's putting something out there that motivates someone to pick up a book.
Maybe I make one art piece and just start there.
There you go. Like if you made a Holocaust piece, just as an example, you have clearly a connection to the Holocaust due to your family heritage. Yeah. Right? So you could do something, and then when people ask you, it's like, well, this is sort of what my people have gone through, and I'm here to teach people that it could never happen again. Boom.
Everything creates
that's a
chain
thing.
reaction.
Absolutely.
It's a ripple effect.
So I want people to understand that this is not about, this is much bigger than me. It's got nothing to do with it. Everybody today has a phone, has a camera, is connected to the internet somehow. You say something small, you know, even if you're advocating for animals, whatever it may be for the planet, it's okay. Just do something.
I want to ask, can I just get the opinion of the viewers? Can I get like engagement here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and I want to know what you think too.
Sure.
I was thinking about this. Is there a documentary that exists where the filmmaker goes to fast food restaurants specifically and captures all of the waste and tracks it down to expose
I don't know
what's happening and how dangerous is
I'm
that?
positive.
Like, is there going to be a hitman sent to my door?
Absolutely not.
Because I think that I would love to do that with you.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great idea. And it's only because I can't even imagine how much garbage is put out, so unnecessarily from these restaurants, because it's all about fast and bottom line money and profits. And
what about recycling? So back in the day when the first, like, people were recycling a lot more. Now I'm noticing that, like, restaurants specifically, like I went to, I go to Pizza Nova here and there, they don't have a recycling bin. Like, everything just goes into the garbage.
In the garbage.
And it's like, the guy is...
Even at my house.
Whatever.
Like,
at my house, here we have 3.
Yeah.
I had green, blue, and black. Like, we try our best to put...
and I was talking to my property management because I'm like, they just end up throwing the boxes in our garbage room or whatever the heck it is, and they just leave it on the floor. I'm like, why don't you just put, like, literally a huge blue bin in the recycling room or in the garbage room, and then we'll throw everything in that bin. And she's
because
like,
it takes effort. It takes
no,
time.
But that's the thing.
She's like, no, it's a great idea. She's like, but people are still throwing shit and all that stuff in the recycling, and it's getting contaminated. So everything in that recycling bin is being thrown in the garbage, because even the smallest bit of whatever is not recycling is now garbage.
But I'm sure if they went out of their way and, like, put a postage in, and told people, hey, this is important. This is what we have to follow. Like, in the building, where it becomes a part of, like, the rules, like
if there was
no smoking weed in places, right? Like, you're seeing them,
right? A guide for people that just generally to follow step by step how you can help with climate change in the environment. Because yes, I can't, like, shut down all the factories and stop all the cars from driving, and there's a giant problem that I can't fix, but I want to know what I can do, and yes, I want to know what I can do to help the bigger picture too.
But you see, it started with art, and now you're being expressive towards something.
Yes.
And that's the thing, that no one's asked you, get in terms of politics, right? Like, that's not. But find something that resonates with you, because I'll tell you why I'm saying this. That conversation with that person who happened to be Jewish, where we spoke about, who said, I don't care about it, really affected me, because I said, if our own people don't care, if we, and this is our story, why would other people care? Why would they, right? If the animals could speak, they'll be like, hey, you're screwing up the environment. They'll say something.
Oh my God, the animals would tell us that we are fucking idiots.
Right?
Yeah.
They'd be like, you guys,
you're
smart?
They'll bite our heads off, because, that's what they're supposed to do.
I feel like the animals
They
are always
chop
like,
our
you think you're
arms
smart? You got, they're so
or
much
they
smarter than
castrate
us.
us
They're
because
so
they'd
much
be like,
smarter
you don't
than us.
need
We just don't
to
understand
breed
them.
anymore. You're that stupid. Stop breeding.
So we've covered quite a bit, but I want to say first off, thank you very much for sharing your work with us. I think you're wonderful.
It's such a pleasure to be here.
You are. How do you feel? Like, right? This was just like
I
a
love this.
conversation.
Can I come like once a month?
Absolutely.
I just like shooting the shit and talking about what's happening in the world.
And that's really what we're here
about.
But it's really about actually, getting people to get out of their comfort zone and to go do something and live with passion. This is not just about, go do your mundane 9 to 5, just, go out and do your thing. Like, love your work. Just like Melissa loves her work. We love your work. If it's possible to do something for us, that would be wonderful. Maybe we can get a few donations. How about this? If you could do something for the Prickly Pear, we will do, like, maybe an auction.
Like a giveaway.
Like a giveaway of something. So maybe we'll keep the picture here, but like something to do with whatever you care for.
Okay.
So it will be like a charity of your choice, just as an idea. This way we can get awareness out there for things you care about, so it comes from you. And it's not going to be so much about the money. It will be anything to help whatever cause you care. Promote the cause. So whatever you can think of. I mean, I'm just going to throw something your way, but, like, since we worked together on your grandfather's story, something maybe in his honor.
Right.
Like Mr. Davis, I was lucky enough to meet your grandfather, who was a wonderful human being. And, maybe something, maybe even, like, just, I don't know, I'm just thinking outside the box here.
We can keep the
something as an idea
flowing.
Right.
The dialogue.
But something that will really make people feel and connect to something that's personal to you.
Totally.
On behalf of Lee, myself,
Ron,
Melissa, our homeboy over there, Anthony, who is helping us with all.
I'm yawning. You guys are
he's the one who has to sit there and listen to us the whole time.
And I actually had a coffee. Like, I stopped drinking coffee. Right?
Oh, did you? Really?
I basically stopped drinking coffee. Remember when I got sick? I had no voice.
Yes.
Right before Phil's wedding.
Right.
So I stopped drinking coffee then. I haven't had coffee since then.
What did it lead? Was it just a choice? Like, I mean, I don't see coffee with being sick.
Well, no, because first of all, I usually had it with cream. Mm-hmm. Then it's a laxative and it's a diuretic. So it not only makes you really dehydrated, and when you're sick, you need to be hydrated. So I stopped drinking it because it would dehydrate me.
Right.
And then I just,
I
noticed that I was still getting a lot of energy. I was just drinking lemon water in the morning, and I said, I'll just drink coffee when I really need it. And now when I really need it, it really works.
So how often do you drink? How often do you drink coffee?
Now probably maybe once or twice a week. Like this morning I woke up, I had a lot of stuff to do. I woke up early. It was my friend's birthday. So I went and
Mazel
I
tov,
got,
friend.
Gal, happy birthday baby again. I got some cupcakes. I got some candles. I got a bottle of champagne or sparkling wine because she likes Prosecco.
Yeah, because champagne has to come from champagne.
Yeah,
it's pretty
so
expensive.
sparkling wine. And then I went to her house and we went for coffee and all that jazz, and I got myself a frappuccino. Or no, sorry.
Have you had matcha before?
I have tried matcha
I
before.
drink matcha lattes. I don't drink coffee. I never drink coffee.
I haven't had a matcha latte. Where do you get it?
Starbucks.
Starbucks?
You can get anywhere.
Always.
I get mine. Also, I like to go to the
I'm a second cup girl.
Revitasize.
I'm a second
they're-
cup girl.
I have nothing to offer here. I rarely drink coffee at all.
Yeah,
The only reason I have coffee is here because I work at Starbucks. I feel guilty sitting there for so many hours and not
Yeah,
really
you gotta buy
drinking.
something. Yeah.
So
Well, I had a latte this morning,
Mm.
so for me, it literally just wore off like halfway through the show. That's when I started yawning. I'm like, oh shit.
it is also 11:15. We've actually been speaking
Oh wow!
for quite some
It's
time.
almost 11. Wow.
Yeah.
I just want to say I want just about the
Yeah.
matcha latte and coffee thing. I want to bring my own reusable cup. I'm gonna try that and just see how that works. out
Ignore
for me.
ignore the bottle I brought with me then. I didn't bring.
Well,
it.
I mean,
That's not it.
listen, I'm not judging anyone. It's a long process.
Hey,
Actually, Game of Thrones.
I use Brita.
Game of
at home.
Thrones. The characters did a commercial for SodaStream
Oh.
about not using plastic bottles.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's a really good for people to
You
check
guys
it out.
want to hear something else?
Maybe somebody can click it. It's a really good commercial for it.
My friend dated Kit Harington. Jon
Nice.
Snow.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I'd
I
like-
knew it had something to do with Jon Snow.
I'd like to meet this person and question her. Again, on behalf of these two lovely ladies and Anthony, who you cannot see, Anthony, maybe we should put the
Thank you,
the
everybody.
camera next time so we could start getting to see you too.
Anthony!
We couldn't
Have
do
yourself
this without
have yourself
you.
an amazing week.
We
We'll
love you
see you
guys.
next week, May 5th. We're having. You remember Chaim Alwani?
Yes.
Yeah. So he.
I actually was in an elevator or something with
Yeah.
his sister or cousin or something like that.
So he's
Like
going.
yesterday.
He's going to be on the show. He wrote a children's book.
Okay.
A lot of people doing children's book lately, I've noticed. And he's going to be coming here to talk a little bit about it. This is somebody that would never. I'm going to call him out on it. Somebody I would never expect to write a children's book. This guy was a big troublemaker as a kid, and made
Maybe
some
he just
young
got really high and said this would be fun.
Maybe, but he's going to be coming on the show next week. It should be a very interesting conversation. So again, on behalf of you two ladies and Anthony, have yourself an amazing week, and
Love
we'll
you
see
guys.
you
Thanks
next
for
time.
watching. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye bye.